to iconic productions, it gets worse. Okay. Yes, welcome. I hope you're having a lovely evening. We're just going to launch right into it. When we last left our heroes, oh boy, you guys were still at the Wizard Tower. You found a whole bunch of notes on some weird ritual to bind an elemental to a human soul, other stuff about some kind of werewolf that he had, prisoner for a while and was trying to study, all kinds of things, all kinds of potion experiments, and you also discovered, after having been trapped in an extra-dimensional space for 18 days, that Talia's old mentor, Kelfir, was also trapped in there, and you guys made it out first. The team, against Talia's wishes, decided to release Kelfir in an attempt to ambush him and kill or kidnap or something. Point was, they built a giant trap and decided to gank him. And,
it was a good trap.
It was a beautiful
good trap.
Everything actually went
so hard.
Everything actually went really well. The trap itself dealt 30-something damage to him before anybody even released their held actions. But you guys did not manage to knock him out before he got his first spell off. And he used, he cast one spell to disintegrate your friend Oz. And then escaped. You guys spent...
so dead, I'm sorry.
You guys, I mean, honestly, as villains go, like from a DM perspective, he's exactly what I wanted.
He's going to have an entire mafia family on his heels until he dies.
And he will start to worry about the moment the family extends their reach outside of Onisher.
Working on it.
That sounded, that may have sounded like a right. There's not a chance, but really that was a do it, Vera. Please do that. I'm excited for that arc. Anyway, you guys spent some time gathering up all of the useful materials from the tower, and then you decided to release Kelfir's two his remaining two helpers. Talia was unsuccessful Talia was unsuccessful in trying to convince them to be peaceful. There was a small scuffle. You guys pretty quickly knocked both of them out, tied them up, and then set about saying goodbye to Oz. You guys built him a cairn. You put his ashes in it. At which point you met Goose.
Covered it in flowers. How dare you?
Covered it in
How
flowers.
you spit on the grave of Oz. Covered it in flowers and oh man.
That's okay. We won't tell the Freemans.
At which point you met Guth and his companions. Guth, I guess we'll describe him. Massive Goliath, happy, jovial, violent, and his companions. Ivester, a beautiful Goliath, even by human standards. Who else? Brahm. Nick, you were pronouncing the name differently than I am. What's
this? Brahm.
Brahm. Okay. Brahm, the the dragonborn barbarian who doesn't like dirt.
I love him.
I love this guy.
The full orc male who does not speak any common and who has been doing his best to convince the ladies in the party that Guth has spoken highly of them and that they should wander over to his bedroll at night and get it on.
Good.
After introductions were made, I guess, You all journeyed to the Legion camp. You managed to avoid pretty much all of the combat encounters, except for one, which you stomped.
We were
You-
supposed to remind you to pay us back our hit dice.
Cool. I didn't do that. Hopefully it doesn't come up.
I have hit dice, so I'm good.
You guys ended up leaving Kelfir's two servants tied up in the tower.
Not a good plan.
Things are happening over there. And you, oh, that's right. When we ended, a chance scuffle between Vera and Guth turned into just not all out combat, at least, well, for Guth, it was all out combat. Basically for everybody but Vera, it was all out combat. Anyway, there was roaring, there was transforming into bears, there were sorcerers panicking and accidentally manifesting grease all over the place. Talia sent a message to the Commandant, and I think we kind of ended with the Commandant telling you they're ready for you at the gates. Go ahead and approach. And then Talia turning around and witnessing this scene of chaos and destruction. And that is where we left off. Oh my goodness. Do you guys want to RP the resolution of that, or do you want to just fast forward to where you're outside the gate?
I have a quick question before we move on, but so before I turned back to see all of this going down, do I recognize the handwriting on the message? Is it the Commandant's or one of her secretaries?
Give me a straight intelligence check.
Oh, somewhere I have.
Add your proficiency bonus because you're a scribe.
Okay. So that'll just be basically, I'll just roll investigation then.
Sure. Oh yeah, that would probably have been the more appropriate one. Dirty 20.
That's a mod 20.
It is not the Commandant's handwriting. It is her secretary's.
Okay. That seems fairly normal, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
No, I mean, the Commandant, any Commandant, but especially this one, is not going to sit there writing all day. She dictates.
Right. Yeah. Okay. That's fine.
I'll just like sidle up to Guth. Are you still a bear, Nick?
Well, I assume that I think we ended on Guth being a roaring bear on fire, standing over Liliana.
Yes, you did end there.
We'll just say that Guth is like the bear is just roaring, and then as he slowly de-transforms back into changes back, he's just gonna continue the yell through the roar, and he's just gonna have spittle come out of his mouth, and then as he looks over Liliana, who's just on the ground, he's just gonna spit, and he's just gonna say, "You're not worthy of this skin. You're not even worthy of her spit." And then he's just gonna walk away.
I love how you were gonna spit at me because my immediate reaction when Josh was like, "Should we move on?" I was like, "Man, I'm gonna freaking spit at him." So that works. Similar reactions.
I'm just gonna walk up and give Liliana a hand up.
You would spit at me? You're not in a position to be spitting at anybody right now.
I still would try. I mean, this is fucking Liliana. What do you think?
Guth, she spits at you.
Yeah.
A tiny little halfling walks in between and gives her a hand up and just looks at you with a raised eyebrow.
I'm walking away. I'm going back to the burial, whatever that was. That's the more pressing issue, not these peons. So
I'll just turn back to the group with my note in my hand and say, so what is going on?
Sorry, there's a very loud thunderstorm going on outside.
I'm hearing it on my end too. It's starting to hit me too.
Very
Wait, Grace, are you back in town?
yes.
Yeah,
Oh.
you missed the part.
I think that storm is headed my way because I'm watching the clouds
Yeah.
darken.
I'm in the west, so it's coming for y'all. But
Yeah.
if there's a sudden crash throughout my dialogue, I apologize. But I'm just gonna say to you, to Leah, just be like, well, he can become a bear, and personally, I'd rather have that information now than later.
Uh-huh.
What do you mean
Okay.
rather now than later? What the fuck is that supposed to mean?
This was an entirely useful exercise, is what I mean.
Oh, sure, okay.
Wait, so just in the interest of, oh dear. But so he's clearly bigger than us, scarier than us, and better at fighting than us. So we should try really hard to make friends, maybe?
Why are we making
I'm
fun of
not
that? I
saying
don't
you-
understand.
Caught anything on fire, but there's things that have clearly been on fire.
Well, let's just say that we could have the option to tear our friend Liliana limb from limb. He chose not to. I personally think that is a factor in his favor.
Uh-huh. Oh God, I'm gonna get
Just
fired.
like a slow eyebrow raise at all of them, like, uh-huh.
We wouldn't have let him kill you, Liliana.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, great, thanks. I'll keep that in consideration.
Okay. Do we want to go? Stefan is waiting for us at the gate.
Perhaps we should tell our companions here. They appear to be rather engaged.
Yeah. What started the bear thing? I was reading. I didn't catch it.
The young man, the very large one, was swearing. So I gave him a very affectionate reminder that that's perhaps not appropriate language in mixed company, and he rather lost his temper.
So, Vera, as much as I admire your propriety, maybe you shouldn't pick fights with creatures that are like 5 times your size.
I'm just gonna shrug Vera off and walk off by myself.
Well, as I said, it turned out to be useful exercise. I suspected he probably wouldn't kill us.
Okay.
As you say that, all 4 barbarians are still like tearing apart these piles of burned ghoul corpses and just like scattering the pieces all over the place.
I'm chanting something in orc. I'm doing my rituals. I'm doing it right now, but yeah.
I don't care quite so much about ghoul corpses. I'm gonna wander back over to the druid clan here.
Well, as you do that, I will just say, just situationally, you guys would be aware of this. You are still at the bottom of this plateau. There's a path that leads kind of up towards where the Legion camp is, and you guys just made a whole lot of noise.
I am going to like very gently poke the elbow of Brahm. Is that his name?
Yeah.
And say, these ghoul fellows who you seem to not perhaps want to engage with are about to descend upon us in a horde. We made quite a bit of noise. Can I suggest that we move on?
Give me a persuasion check with disadvantage because he's raging.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Disadvantage. Persuasion. Both of them were bad, but it's
Cool.
good.
He continues to chant under his breath and with his listen, I think he's got a great axe. And he is just axing through bodies and like flipping them off the edge of the plateau, and he is largely ignoring you.
I'll try the Goliath lady next.
Okay. It It takes a few minutes. And you guys can start to hear like clattering in alleyways nearby, and like just stones starting to fall in places. Like there are clearly things moving in the alleys. It takes a little while. You didn't roll badly enough that you're going to get an encounter, but the barbarians eventually cool down. They're still upset, but they're starting to realize that there is an absurd number of bodies out here, and that they're not going to be able to destroy them all.
So they have booze at the camp. So Mr. Brom, was it? Maybe you could translate for your friend and let him know that they have alcohol, so we should go.
So do you think that we are just savages or something like that?
No. It's just
booze. I'm going to do whatever you want me to do then. Is that what you think me to be?
Brom says, "No, Guth, she is right. We can at least," and he's like scraping muck out of his scales, "we can at least purify our skin with it."
I'm just gonna give him a really hard, like an up and down look. Like, say something happens and you've had a conversation with someone about something several times, and you just kind of just let it go. That's the face that I just give Brom, and then I just like sharply turn, like not in a rage anymore, but still furious. Yeah.
You will not be the one judging when you are on your sick bed with infection. And he turns away and wipes off his axe, and he's ready to go.
Does he know what infection is, Josh? He doesn't know what infection is.
I'm gonna say he does, and you probably don't.
So that really empty threat, regardless of
Totally empty.
Yeah, we can start we finish up. I think Guth will walk over and he's gonna make he's gonna do mold earth again and make a depiction of just shattered bodies and what was scattered, and the ritual they did to right the wrong that was done here. So,
okay. You guys move up the plateau until cresting over the top. You can see the walls. The walls look very different. They're now up to about 25 feet high, and they are much better constructed than they were the first time. When you guys first got here, you found out kind of they had just recently moved from their previous location in the harbor to this one because it's more defensible. They've had now several weeks to fortify. The walls look pretty formidable. Certainly for walls that are made out of cobbled ruins, cobbled together ruins. The entire plateau leading up to it again has just all of the buildings that were here have been broken down and all of the material carried away. There are foundations, but the highest stand maybe like 1.5 feet off the ground. You also notice as you go up that the stacks of bodies are in even like rows across perpendicular, I guess, to the slope. So you'll pass you'll pass between one row of them, and then you'll go another 20, 30 yards, another row, etc. These were not scattered randomly. And as you approach the gate, you can see,
You'll Guth will kind of look and kind of say towards to the shamans, but loud enough so everyone hears. I'm like, look what the stone huggers, look what their buildings have done for them. What good it is now, huh? Even the stone has been reclaimed by nature. They can't be protected at all.
If Esther nods at you and like gestures with her chin towards the gate and says, "There are more of them, and they are also small. I did not think everybody here was so little."
There's a lot of little things here that, frankly, very prickly.
I don't know how they survive out here. It's well,
Well, this is how they'll survive, and I'll gesture at another row of bodies as we walk by. So,
But why would the spirits leave them unmolested if this is the way that they treat the dishonored dead?
I think that their problems are coming. Maybe we are the problem, huh, Taruk? And I'll like punch him in the arm and like.
He responds in orc because that's the only one he
Oh,
knows.
I talked to him in orc, obviously. Like, yeah.
Please let us be the problem. All right, you guys approach the gate. You can see one of the legionaries standing on top of the wall, kind of calls down behind him. The gates open up, and Stefan walks out, looking much like you saw him last. It was, yeah, no. Walks out towards you, stops about 30 feet away, and kind of holds up a hand for you guys to stop. And he gestures, Talia, spells that you know. No, okay. He clearly casts some kind of spell. Nothing happened. He nods.
Well, if he casts his spell, my mage armor goes away.
True, actually. Any of you with mage armor on, actually, I guess it's one magical effect and multiple people cast. Okay. He casts several spells, and kind of your mage armor goes away. Any other kind of enchantments that you had vanish. All right, you can come closer.
Stefan, where's Garrett?
Garrett is a prisoner in his quarters.
Why?
I know what that means.
You can speak to the commandant about that.
Okay, can I speak to Garrett?
This is the commandant's permission, but she will be busy quite a bit. If you can find her and she will hear you, you are welcome to speak with her. But she will.
Thank you.
So many preparations to be done.
Great.
And he ushers you guys into the camp.
Okay.
As you guys walk in, the mood among the soldiers, kind of last time you were in the camp, everybody was very focused, very serious. Now everybody's still doing their job, but there is an air of confidence, of joviality, of people. They're in good spirits. Whereas last time it was pure professionalism. You can see that all of the buildings in here were previously, some of them were inhabited, others were still ruins. Ruins have either been removed completely and created these open spaces, or incorporated into other buildings, and all of the buildings look like they've been fortified. You also notice as you kind of walk through the streets of the camp, at certain intersections and in certain areas, there is material kind of set up and roped together that looks like if you cut a rope, the whole thing would just fall down and basically be an effective barricade. So if actually, Talia, anybody who wants to can give me an intelligence check. Vera with advantage.
Just intelligence?
Just straight intelligence, yeah.
23.
Cool.
We'll see what happens. Ooh.
Okay, so Talia, Goose, what was yours? 13. Yeah. It's not too difficult to discern. If you were retreating from the walls, kind of deeper and deeper into the camp, dropping these behind you would allow you to funnel people in right attackers in predetermined areas. These are built to make a last stand as devastating as possible to the attackers.
Look, they make little bitty walls inside of their even like small walls, but then even smaller walls because they know that walls are dumb and that they're small and not good. So look, it's like futile. I don't what are they even doing in here?
Moss, keep talking. I'm not going any further. Okay? Okay. That's kind of the point where I'm at right now.
Well, I was speaking orc, so I mean
I can hear the condescending tone in your voice. Like, no, I'm done. I'm not dealing with this shit anymore. Yeah.
You just walking off on your own?
Yeah.
You any where are you going specifically? Are you looking for anything specific to do, or you're just
Nope, just walking and thinking.
You were shut up in a space for 18 days with these people, and then the only one that you kind of liked just died, and you're just taking a walk.
Yeah, not dealing with this. Not dealing with this anymore.
May I insight?
I broke her in like 5 minutes of encounter.
Yeah. Liliana doesn't deal with bullshit very well. I'll just say that.
Go ahead, Vera.
May I insight check her to see if she actually wants company or if she wants to be alone?
Absolutely. Mary, give me a DC.
Just hopefully on like company.
15 is a medium. 25 is really hard, and like 5 to 10 is pretty easy.
I'd probably put it like a 17.
17? Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, just got it.
Exactly a 17. So Liliana, I assume you genuinely just want to be alone, and you're done with these people, at least for the next moment. Yeah. Vera, she does not want company.
Okay. I'm going to go up to the shaman and look very far up and just say, is anyone hungry? Hungry?
I mean, we'll eat. Like, yeah, I'm not going.
Okay.
If it, Brom says, not if it's the whatever grubs and roots that you all must subsist on.
I will give you some options and see what you like. If you're hungry, follow me, and I'll walk towards the mess.
Okay.
Whatever it would be.
Cool.
Guth, the other three look at you. Actually, Tirug does not. Tirug follows Vera. Yvester and Brom look at you.
Let's go grub up. We can clearly one of us needs to go wash our hands or something like that. But let's at least go find the food.
Yes, please, if there are facilities.
Can I say that as head of the mess tent, I have made like wash stations outside. Like you have to wash your hands to come into my mess tent.
That would totally be something Vera would do.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me just a straight persuasion check, just to see if any of the officers are like, you can't really do that.
You're into public health. Let's hope.
Okay, yeah,
Dirty
no problem. There are wash basins that are refilled on occasion by legionaries in their off time.
Dirty hand water. Let's go.
You've essentially got like a small staff that can only do things for you when they are not on duty. But like in return, like they get to jump the line, things like that. You give them a half a scoop extra, things like that.
That's awesome.
So yes, you direct him to one of those. He goes over, takes it, and starts like taking clawfuls of it and kind of rubbing it off, and then just taking a basin and like dumping it on himself, and then going off in search of another one. You're sure he'll show up eventually.
Can I just say,
so
if the party is splitting, I'm going to the commandant.
Okay. Vera, you take the barbarians to the mess hall. As you walk through the camp, and these barbarians are kind of looking down and sniffing at, not like smelling, but like this disdainful sniffs at the soldiers and chatting with each other in orc in a clearly disdainful manner. You hear from some of the soldiers comments of curiosity, but also admiration. There is clearly some respect from the soldiers for these people. And it doesn't seem to be a personal thing, like they don't know these people, but there is certainly some respect, some kind of cultural respect from the soldiers to the orcs. It is not returned. So you take them to the mess hall. Talia, you head for the commandant.
Yep.
Shoji, for the hell of it, she'll follow Brahm and show him to the hospital tent where they have sufficient
antiseptic.
Yes. Actually, the bathhouse. They've actually got a little bath center here.
Oh, she would love the bathhouse.
Liliana, as you are walking, what's on your mind? What are you thinking? Sorry, if you want to eat, I can jump to somebody else. I was not paying attention. Okay.
No, you're fine. I always am like, I gotta hurriedly scarf all my food down. We're playing.
That's fine. You just reminded me that I have a cookie, so I'm gonna.
Yeah, eat your cookie. I'm pissed off. I'm angry about that I'm in this body, which I haven't been angry about for a while, but now I'm really pissed off about it. And that I feel very stuck. And that I refuse to deal with any of this right now, basically.
All right.
That's kind of where Liliana is, as she's like stalking around like in circles and lines, just like avoiding everybody as possible.
Give me an intimidation check.
Oh, good. I'm good at those. It's one of the few things that I'm really good at. Hopefully that will show through. 18.
You try to avoid people, and you think you are, what you don't notice is that they're just avoiding you.
Yeah.
You turn to walk down a line of tents, and people take one look at you, and they're just like, I'm going to go, do this. And they scatter anywhere except where you are. Cool. You find yourself on a long and mostly solitary walk.
Okay.
Talia, the
Yes.
commandant is not in her office.
Well,
One of the guards stops you outside the building and says, "Sir, commandant is not in. She is seeing to preparations into camp."
you know whereabouts? I need to speak with her and make my report.
You're welcome to look for her, but I do not know precisely where she is.
Fair enough. Will you just let her know that I am in the mess when she needs me, and I would like to speak to her as soon as possible?
I will do so if she returns soon, and I will pass it on to the next guard in case.
Is the Tribune in?
Which one?
The one that's got the name that's like the commandant's. Aria?
As the tribune of the camp.
Yes.
He is with the commandant.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I'll be at the mess.
Okay.
I'm not going to the mess.
Okay.
I will walk that way long enough that he clearly sees me go that way, and I'm going to Garrett's.
He clearly stopped looking at you the moment you turned away.
Okay.
All right, you head over to Garrett's small little building, and there are 2 guards outside the door.
Good evening, afternoon, whatever time of day it is now. I'm not sure I know anymore. Is he in?
Yeah, are you one of the people who went and helped find the griffin?
Yes, I'm also the commandant's secretary, one of them.
Yeah, I thought you were dead.
Almost. But we managed to survive, mostly. Except Oz.
Oh.
Can I go in?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. No one may enter without the commandant's permission.
Oh, right. Have you seen her? Do you happen to know where she might be? Because I went looking for her in the office and she wasn't there.
I'm sorry. I have been guarding the door for the last 6 hours.
Great. Sweet. Is he all right?
I mean, he's alive.
Why is he in trouble? What did he do?
I'm not allowed to speak as to the charges against the prisoner. You have to,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
All right. Can you give him a note?
I'm not allowed to give anything to the prisoner, but
Could you
next
read a
time-
note loudly? And can I just stand here and yell out loudly enough he can hear me?
sure, of course.
All right. Well, you know,
I mean,
if you
I would appreciate it if you would take a few steps back first, so you're not shouting, in my face. But otherwise,
of course not.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I
Right.
mean, if he can hear me now without shouting, that's fine too. But I have something of his that I wish to give back, and I need to talk to him and crave his forgiveness for having been gone so long. It wasn't intentional, and there wasn't anything I could do about it, and I'm so sorry, Garrett. And well, I'll go find the commandant and I'll come and talk to you soon. I promise. Yeah, I'll just be off then.
Okay. I'm glad you're not dead.
Thank you. I think I am too. I'm not sure yet.
That's really morbid.
What do you know?
About morbid? I'm a soldier.
Isn't that your? You have no right to comment. I'm sorry, friend. What's your name?
What a great question. That one's too perfect.
Tyriak.
My name is Nicholas Postumius.
I'm Talia, Nicholas. I shall. How long are you here still?
What was
You
his
said you've been
name?
Here 6 hours.
Nicholas Postumius.
Yes.
I'm really loving it.
I scanned down my list of Freeman names and I was like, given what was just said, that one's perfect.
Oh,
Drive the
man.
Mortis.
Nicholas Postumius.
Too perfect.
Hold on.
Um.
I have 1 more hour on my shift.
All right. Very well. Thank you.
I don't know what for, but okay.
Don't know what for either. All right.
Okay. You wander off.
I'll go back to the mess
Okay.
because that's where I know people went.
During all of this time, the rest of you are in the mess.
I asked them if
I don't
savories.
I don't know if it's necessary to note, but Guth does not wash his hands because someone tells him to. So he doesn't. And if there needs to be some kind of encounter with that, but Guth does not wash his hands.
There's nobody standing there making sure that people wash their hands.
I wanted to have the moment to have someone say, "Here's the bowl," and I just kind of like look at him, like, "What do you want me to do with that?" Like that. But if there's no one there, then yeah, I just walk in. It's fine.
No, there's nobody there enforcing it. The Vremans are just by nature, and at least by comparison, cleanly people.
And I'm a mom who makes people wash up before dinner.
There's Vera, there's a rumor that runs around that you're aware of that's false, but you haven't really denied it. That somehow you know when people haven't washed their hands, and they always find like something a little off in there. That rumor has just kind of spread among the soldiers.
Oh, I encourage that rumor.
Anytime, one of the privates is just like, so, Ma, you don't put anything into food, you just kind of give him a little smile and a wink that doesn't answer anything at all.
Yeah.
It says everything.
Yep.
So what I will say is, Talia, for the next 2 days, you find that the commandant is extraordinarily busy.
2 days?
Yep, and she will happily meet with the group on the 15th. So today is the 12th. She will happily meet with you guys on the 15th, but you guys have 2 days until.
That's not cool. So I assume I'm going through secretary at this point, but I will just leave a message requesting that I be allowed to see Garrett before 2 days, before I see the commandant. Just requesting that happen.
Give me a persuasion check.
$19.
19? Okay. Your favorite other secretary, Sonia, is the one you're speaking to, and she says, "So is that it's the magical item?"
Yes.
I've addressed that.
No, you will not. Thank you. He gave it into my hands, and from my hands, he will receive it.
Yeah, but that is Legion property, and Gert has been stripped of rank, and it is no longer his. So you will turn over the Legion's property to me, and perhaps we can see about getting you to speak to Gert. I can't grab it through the camera, but I appreciate that.
You're really breaking my immersion, Josh.
She takes the amulet, and you will be allowed to see Gert later on this day, kind of this same day. So we'll run that in just a minute. So for the next couple of days, what do you guys want to do with that downtime? Vera.
Actually, I was going to talk to the shaman crew at this dinner or whatever time of day it is.
Okay. Okay, so we'll run that social encounter. We'll run Talia's, and then Liliana. Is there anything social that you want to do? I'm guessing no, and if not,
No. Anytime the shamans come around, she is suspiciously not there.
Okay.
That's how I'll describe it.
what is Liliana spending all of her free time doing?
She's probably spending a little bit of time in the bathhouse because that's where she was working before, and she's built some connections with the people there. And then aside from that, storming her way around, not talking to people mostly.
Alrighty then.
I'm gonna find you later and have a heart-to-heart, Liliana.
Oh, okay.
Liliana, give me a real quick. What have I been having you roll wisdom? Just a straight wisdom check.
Okay. 12.
12? Okay. Yeah, you walk around raging and upset at being in this body.
Yeah, I'm pretty pissy.
Does Guth notice that she's always running away?
Would he be? Well, he doesn't see her. You notice, I guess, that she is never around.
Okay. If I'm ever around, no, I'd probably just ask anybody. I'll just ask one of the Vreeman soldiers. I'll say, "Okay, Metal Mouth," and I just kind of flick him on the top of the head, like in his helmet.
Ping. Yeah.
Where is that? Where is the dragon one? Why does she keep? Where does she go?
She just kind of walks around. She doesn't go anywhere. She glares at you like she wants to skin you, and then you just go a different direction.
So you just run away from that?
There's no running involved. It's just.
But you see a problem and then you go the other way, is what you just told me.
I mean, yeah, I see somebody else's problem and I go and deal with my own, like they should.
I just feel like that's a real roundabout way about dealing. Like, what happens if she's right in your way and you can't go away? Then is it your, like, when does it become your problem?
This is so strange. You are not at all like I imagined. Oh. This is really strange. You are not at all like I imagined one of the orcs would be. They said you guys charged straight at things. I did not know that you also had such concern with emotion. It's a very strange combination.
No, that's the thing I was saying. Why don't you run right at it? I guess that's the whole thing. You said we run right at it. Yeah, that's me attacking, but you don't. And I feel like that's a small thing to do. I mean, I'm trying to understand this wall hugger culture. Like it's I don't get you. I don't know.
I don't know what that means, but like when you're surrounded by 5,000 other people, all with lots of problems, you really only have the time to focus on a few, and she's not one of my few.
Who is she? What's her problem? She hit me really hard with like a bunch of fire. It really pissed me off. I'm not going to lie. What's her thing?
Look, if you're going to do violence on her, please don't do it in the camp. The Converters will be very upset with you.
I'm gonna lean in real close. What was that? You want me to go somewhere else with that problem?
Give me an intimidation check.
Is that with strength or not?
Yeah, because you're towering over him.
Okay.
Freemans are not known for their height. They're
okay.
not height.
That's just gonna be a +6. We got to get like a new.
13.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're not supposed to do violence within the camp, outside of the normally allowed sparring. So yeah, if you're going to go do unauthorized violence upon the Dragonborn lady, you should probably do it outside the gates.
Who has any authority to stop me? Who's going to stop me?
Well, probably the converters will try first, and if that doesn't succeed, then
So those are the biggest of all of you. They're the biggest men.
I mean, the officers. Yeah, you know this word, officer?
Probably don't. Probably don't.
The enforcer. Yeah, when you break the rules, they crack down on you with a stick.
So the spirits. It is the spirits. They with the stick.
No, the Cassius. You see another soldier kind of looks over. What is it, legionary? The orc here wants to understand authority.
Oh, no.
How did you explain that? I mean, he wants to, yeah, and he pulls out kind of this thick rod of wood that looks like it has some real heft to it. And he says,
No.
"Yeah, this is authority right here.
Can I break it in half?
Roll a contested athletics check first.
Okay.
Never mind. He rolled a natural one. So yeah, he's not really expecting it. So you just snatch it out of your hands and just give me a straight strength check.
I rolled a. Do you want me to roll again? I rolled a 14. I could just add my. I'll roll again.
That was the contested athletics to take it from him. Now you're trying to.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
This is just a straight strength.
Oh, that's tough. Man.
You snatch it out of his hands and.
You got to rage first. So you get advantage on those things.
Yeah. What does Goose do? What's your passive perception?
Very high.
Take your perception
13.
and add 10.
13.
Cool. What does Goose do as he sees the legionary kind of stifle a snort?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Did I feel like it was close to breaking that stick or not at all?
You were not close to breaking the stick.
Okay.
Yeah, that's about the way it is. Can I have my stick back?
Yes, you may have it back. Can I smash it over his head?
Cool.
I want to just take it. You can have it back and just take the stick and just bring it on the side of his head. Like on his helmet.
Give me a strength check.
Yeah. Damn.
Cool. Nope.
Oh, he's rolling for perception. Jesus.
There we go. Okay. An immediate fight breaks out. You smash him. The legionary tries to tackle you, fails horribly, just kind of slams his shoulder into your chest, and you don't move at all. At which point, feel like it's Oz just back again. It takes them about a full minute, like 10 full rounds. But eventually, like showing up in groups of 1 or 2, legionaries just start charging in, and eventually beat you into unconsciousness.
Whoa, okay, all right. Unconsciousness.
Yeah.
No. Okay, yeah. Well, if we want to do that, like that's not Goose not gonna let that happen. Like that's.
Is he going to make any attempt to social his way out of it or run?
No.
Cool. You crack some heads, but they pile you down.
I would turn into a bear. Like I would go into a rage and turn into a like I would never. He wouldn't lose. He wouldn't accept that.
So, Nick, we can run this combat if you want.
I understand. Yeah.
What I'm telling you is there are too many of them.
I'm just saying. My thing is, I'm saying, would they back off? Would they back off before I go down?
Do you back off?
No.
Then no. There's a raging barbarian bear in their camp. They're not backing away and letting you just run around. Unless Guth attempts to stop it through non-violent means or flee, they're gonna win.
I'm not trying to say I could take out the whole camp. I'm not trying to say that. I'm trying to say, like, would there at any one point be like, would they just like stop and just be like, okay, like we'll stop if you stop? Do they ever do that?
I think that might be possible had they all been standing around and seen this happen. But this is turning the corner and watching a bear take a swat at your sergeant. You don't ask questions, right? You run in and you attack the bear. You get the wounded out and then you pile that fucking thing into the ground. They're not asking questions.
Oh, man.
Sure. Yeah. Fair.
Cool. You guys, I'm sorry. We'll rewind from that to this first day that you arrive, and there was going to be a role play with between Vera and the barbarians. Sorry,
So
that escalated quickly.
I find this more entertaining for that to be posted.
Oh, it will be. Yeah, it's after this.
So do I like hear that since I have an ear to the grapevine that Goose has been knocked unconscious and left somewhere, taken to the medical vet? Where is he?
We will worry about that after this because that happens later.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Is I can have this conversation after that fight.
I thought you said you were going to have the conversation kind of in the mess hall.
No, I've changed my mind. Too far. It's gone too far at this point.
Cool. All right, that's fair. At the end of 2 days, you find out that one of the barbarians is in the prison.
I will go visit.
Cool. Before that happens, Talia, so still on the day you guys arrived back in camp, you are allowed to go see Garrett. The guards open the door for you, and you walk in. They close it behind you. You hear a latch go down. There is very little light in here. There are a couple of windows, but both of them are shuttered. There's just 2 candles just kind of in the room, but the whole thing is just dark shadows and dim light. And you can see Garrett for the first time, no armor, nothing. The room is devoid of weapons, of armor. You see none of that. He is lying on a cot, just on his back arm, kind of over his eyes, just like this, and littered all over the floor, carved in the wood on the walls, painted and written in various places on like the shutters and the walls. You see parchments with just images on them, right? And they're just plastered. The parchments just kind of litter the floor, and then the same images that you see are kind of all around on the ceilings. On the walls and shutters.
Are they similar to the ones he showed me before?
He only showed you one before. He showed you the kind of the one of the blue crystal. He did tell you, sometime come back, I'll show you the other ones. But you have not seen any of these before.
Does he react at all when...
Some of them are the crystal, others are not.
Does he react at all when I come into the room?
He does not. He makes no move when you walk into the room.
Garrett?
Yeah. His arm is still over his eyes.
I'll just go up and cup his elbows. Garrett, what happened?
I failed. I wasn't there when they needed me.
But that wasn't your fault. It was mine.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
No, it does matter. And I'm going to talk to the commandant and we'll get you out of this. I will take responsibility for it.
Talia, I appreciate it, but don't bother yourself. The situation doesn't matter. When the legionaries needed me, I was not able to help. I failed in my duty to the legion. I failed as an example of the temple. It's fine, don't worry about it.
No, it's not fine. What happens to you now? How long has this been? How long have you been like this?
Since calendar. Since don't know, since the night that the red moon was full.
Did the ghouls attack?
Yeah.
Garrett. Well, how does he look? Does he look like he's been fed okay? Does he seem thinner than usual?
He is definitely, now that you kind of take a second in silence and kind of take a look at him, he's definitely thinner. You can see kind of on a small desk in the corner, rations. They're just not really touched. So it's not like he's being starved. He's just not eating. It's hard to tell anything other than that because his arm is still just over his face.
Okay. So I will use light to brighten up the room.
Okay. What are you casting it on? Just something in the room.
Yeah, like if the
where-
candlesticks.
Okay.
One of the candlesticks that has a candle in it already.
Okay.
Yeah.
The room is filled with bright light.
Let me see you.
Talia, just.
I'm not going to leave. So you can get that out of your head.
Give me a persuasion check.
Can't use any of my cleric stuff, can I?
Oop.
It's an 8.
Look, Talia, it's fine. Just leave me alone. You're not going to help anything, and I'm fine.
I just sit down on the cot right next to him. I'll just take his hand, not the one that's over his face, but the other one. I'll just hold it between both of mine, and look, Garrett, I can't imagine what you're going through right now. But we're going to get you through this. You're a good man. You're an honorable man. And all of this is my fault. And I will take responsibility for it.
You have no idea what the Freeman's sense of honor is. You can take responsibility for whatever you want, but nothing changes the fact that when the legionaries needed me, I was not able to help. And what do you mean? He kind of sits up and his arm comes away from his face. What do you mean I'm a good man? You don't know anything about me. I don't know anything about me. I woke up months ago and I know nothing before that.
I know. But you showed me such grace. And you led me down this path towards redemption. And Garrett, if the mother is who she is, who we think she is, then she can bring you back.
The mother does not need the likes of me.
She does.
He kind of flops back down on the bed and puts his arm over his eyes again.
Before as I see him start to lean away, I just want to grab him up and just hold him to me in a big hug.
What are you doing? No. Talia, let go.
Garrett, please. You must have some faith in yourself.
Talia, what you call grace, I spouted dogma at you. I told you what they told me, but Samasa has never spoken to me.
Well, she hasn't been speaking to me either, so.
No, but at least you got the one time.
You've been through a lot, Garrett. But you have all of this. What is all of this?
What is all of what?
Drawings.
I can't see. You're pressing my face into your neck. It's.
I'll let him go.
you let him go. He pulls back and like scoots a good arm's length away from you on the cot. These are the images that I told you about.
As I look through, so I recognize the ones of the crystals. What are the other images of?
One of them is kind of this bizarre circular structure, or circular shape, I guess, with 4 nodes kind of in at the cardinal directions. Another one just looks like some kind of tower, but it's done completely in charcoal. Another one looks like some kind of fortress. And then the fourth is just a kind of a red splotch surrounded by what look like crude mountains.
So considering all of the things that I've read and the fact that I read the book that the monks had on their island about the gods,
Yeah.
all those sorts of things, does any of it make any sense to me whatsoever? Does any of it look vaguely familiar?
Give me a history check.
Okay. 10.
You don't recognize any of these. I mean, all of them could be any number of things. None of them stand out particularly.
And there's a lot of the same images like repeated over and over?
Yes. And some of them are named. You can see kind of scrawled on some of the pages, kind of on the walls. The conduit of 4 rivers is kind of that circular structure. The tower hiding in the night. The citadel, first of the 5. And the lake, the blood of exiles. And none of those ring a bell.
Okay. May I take some of these? One of each?
Yeah, I don't need any of them. Take all of them if you want.
Perhaps, Garrett, perhaps she's speaking to you differently. When whatever I saw, it was distorted and strange, and none of it made any sense. And since then, she's been completely closed to me. Every time I call on her, I get nothing.
Give me another persuasion check. This one with advantage.
Okay. $23.
23 is a lot better. Tilly, I do appreciate it. Thank you. I don't know. Perhaps that's the case. But I don't think it is likely that I will find out at this point.
Why? What are they going to do to you?
Well, the commandant didn't tell you.
I haven't seen her yet.
Oh, well, I've been stripped of rank. I am no longer a priester, and I will be sent back to the Empire for court-martial.
Okay, that's not as bad as I was afraid when you... Right.
Not as bad as. How could it be worse?
Well, you know, I had a friend once who said that where there's life, there's hope.
That is not the case. Look,
But the matriarch is in the Empire, isn't she?
yeah, the matriarch is in the Empire, but the priesters are stationed with the legions as as proof of the temple's value. You don't understand. This is more than just me. If I could die in service of the Empire, it would be far better for the temple and for me. The first thing I could possibly do is desert the Legion and show to the Empire that the temple is not trustworthy.
But you didn't desert, Garrett. The commandant is a reasonable woman. I will talk to her.
Yeah, she's a reasonable woman with a duty, as I had, and I was unable to fulfill it. Maria Leontia will not fail to perform her duty.
Well, I can't see her for another 2 days.
But I don't think talking to her will do much, but...
I'll write to the High Chancellor myself if I have to.
Talia, you concern yourself with others far too much.
Garrett, I have lost many people in the last few weeks. And I'll be damned if I lose you too.
Okay. Give me your third and final persuasion check. This one also with advantage.
Okay. $23 again.
Another 23. Okay. You have successfully clericked the cleric. But I don't think talking to Arya will do much good. She is bound by her oaths, but did you accomplish anything, great and amazing using the holy symbol? Because if so, you might be allowed to speak at my court-martial and perhaps change some things.
I did accomplish something. Yes.
And it was significant and beneficial to the Legion's purpose in Vestisher.
I might have to think about it to spin it that way, but I've heard that you have a great place of learning in the Empire, yes?
What?
Of course, you wouldn't remember.
He looks hurt by that.
Well, it's not your fault, of course.
You definitely just took a couple steps back.
Oh, shoot. But I found this amazing arcane device below this tower that we went to, that Oz took us to. And it could be significantly valuable to the Empire.
What is it?
It is a lattice, but the simple cost of it alone is phenomenal. And I'll explain to him the craftsmanship of the diamond, the gemstone, all of that's within it, and it is some sort of ritual that is set up to bind the person who casts the ritual to this elemental fire creature.
State secrets for a boy.
Yes, you're right. It could blow Westishire to
yeah, we're getting there. Don't worry.
I am not sure of the benefit of that to the Legion as a whole, but
well, the other thing is that if it is set off, it blows a huge hole in the city.
Oh, that might be counterproductive.
Right. Well, and the good news is that I, with Silhalun's help, fixed it so that it's not going to blow up for at least, a month or so. Although it could have blown at any moment and taken the city with it.
Good. Give me. We're gonna do one more persuasion check. This one with disadvantage. We took a couple steps back.
Okay.
Not gonna lose too much ground if you fail this. Let's roll a natural 1 because then it's the dice. But just to see if you can recover what you lost there.
It's an 8.
Okay.
It wasn't a 1.
He's by the end of the conversation, he's meeting your eyes. He's sitting up and he is an active participant in the conversation at this point. Was there anything else specific you wanted to talk to him about? Because otherwise you guys can just spend some time catching up. And
well, there's one specific thing that definitely has to happen.
Okay.
But she'll save it until she leaves.
Okay.
So do you want me to say that now, or do you want to wait to come back?
This, I think, is the last event today, and then a Goliath gets beaten up and stuff happens.
Okay. So we'll finish our conversation.
Yeah.
I'll try to comfort him as much as I can. And then just as I leave, I'll ask him if he wants the light on or if it will go away in an hour. So it's fine either way. I can let it out when I go.
If it doesn't, if it's not a distraction, leave it on. I have some writing to do.
All right. Garrett?
And you can see he picks up an actual quill this time. It's not, he's not about to go and start drawing, like scrawling images again. It means actual writing.
Okay. So as I just stand up to take my leave, I will just wrap my arms around him and kiss him very quickly. And say, I have missed you more than you can ever know. And I don't know what else to say now. So rest well.
He doesn't say a goddamn thing. He just kind of looks at you like the quill just kind of drops out of his hand. Yeah, I have some writing to do. And he just,
So do I.
Sits down and just starts writing.
Hi.
Give me a quick insight check.
Okay.
We stand.
This will just be kind of something for kind of that whole conversation into Garrett.
Okay. 12?
Okay. You suspect that. I mean, there's a lot going on for Garrett. There is something kind of exacerbating the problem here for Garrett. Kind of the whatever's going on in his head. It's not just the kind of failing his position.
Okay.
But over that conversation, you couldn't quite figure out what it was. All right, Vera, were you doing one more thing today?
Sorry, I just have one more quick question.
Yeah.
Was my pass like a one-time only sort of thing, or is it reusable?
Your pass.
To
To
go
get
see
in to
Garrett.
see him? Like, do I
Oh,
have a
I'm sorry.
standing permission to come and see him, or was it just a once in your
Does he have ability to come for more conjugal visits? Is that-
No, this was a one time, like, fine, if you really need to go skim, you can have a little bit of time now, but
Okay.
then you're gonna have to wait.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
All right, so yeah, Vera.
I was trying to think of when to do this, and actually the first night we're back, good. Are we staying in tents? I can't really remember. We have our own little quarters.
At this point, you were in tents. At this point, you guys have kind of like a small corner of one of the repaired buildings.
Okay.
I mean, the Legion has been here for a year. They've lost people, so there is open housing.
Then I would like to go find Liliana in her quarters. Is that
Okay.
first night? And I'm just gonna start by standing in the doorway and making sure she sees me. And I'll, sort of tap on the door frame.
Of a 10.
So,
Of Russell.
So you guys are in like a cobbled stone wood
Okay.
small building that can fit the entire party.
Okay.
are we alone? I would double check that.
Yeah.
At this point in the evening, I don't know when you had gone back to your room.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I would have been at Garrett's for as long as, yeah.
Yeah.
You, my dear, are angry.
Ma, I don't want to lecture today. I'm really just not in the mood.
It's not what I had in mind. It's what I have in mind depends on your answer to the next question. Which is, what are you angry about?
Gee, I wonder what I'm angry about. Gosh, there are so many things. Do you really want me to spell it out for you, Ma? Do you want me to have to say it out loud? Okay. That fucking asshole doesn't get to say whether or not I deserve this body. I know I don't deserve this body. I understand that I'm a total screw up and a fuck up and whatever. Anybody else understands that I'm the only one who gets to say that fucking business, okay? All right? And I am done. I am done, okay? I get it. I get it. I get that everybody hates the fact that I am in this body. I get that everybody hates that I am the one who took over the body of their precious friend. I understand. And you know what? The only person who goddamn cared about that was Oz. And Oz doesn't even exist anymore. So why should I give a damn about whatever is going on with the rest of everybody? You know, I had to leave everybody at this point because I was going to just explode half of the camp. But you know who would be pissed off about that? Oz would be pissed off about that. And I am not about to disrespect that goddamn idiot's memory just because he had to go and die in the middle of a tower that I didn't even want to be at. That's why I'm angry. And that's why I'm done. Pissed off at the rest of this. I don't have to be here for it anymore.
I know the funny thing. I've known you, and DM, correct me if I'm wrong, longer than I knew the original inhabitant of that body.
Not
Is
true.
it a whole year?
Yeah, you guys were in a role together for a whole year.
Yeah, we had that earlier.
Yeah.
Because we started out with that earlier encounter, like a whole year before the campaign started.
Yeah.
Liliana doesn't know that.
No.
That's true. If you want to give me a quick deception check.
I don't want to lie. That was my mistake.
Okay.
But I would
That's
say, you know, I have been through more with you than I had with you. And to be perfectly honest, I'm not entirely sure what to do about you both. I was so sure at the beginning, and now I don't know. I can't fix what's making you angry now. I can't bring Oz back. But I can try and bring something back for you. Just an idea.
Ma, I'm in this body because of a fluke of nature, not because anybody wanted me to be here. And that's about the entire legacy I'll have at the end of the day.
That's not true. You had a past. You were a person before this. You just don't remember. That's what I want to try and help you with.
Sure, but I had my time hundreds of years ago, or whenever I lived. You know, all of this was completely different. And I had my time already. And then I made decisions that ended up getting me killed. And now I'm here because of a sacrifice of someone I don't even know that wasn't even for me.
I had my time too, you know. Then I got old. And did you know how I ended up on this adventure? It was a clerical error. It was a clerical error that put me on this squad. Did you know that?
No. Why would a clerical error have gotten you even out here?
Who would put an old woman on a squad?
I don't know.
Total mistake. Look at us both. Let me help you find who you were. I know something in there to be proud of.
I don't know. I don't know what I did. I just know people hated me. And they still do.
Is that what you really remember?
Yeah. That's all I remember. I remember being in taverns with friends whose names and faces I can't even remember, and standing up on tables and shouting about justice, and then being slammed down by magic on a battlefield. That was what I did with my youth. I got caught up with people who didn't know they were in over their heads. And I died. And that's all I remember. I don't even remember what the hell we were fighting for.
Sounds like you were fighting justice. Doesn't sound like
I
a
don't
hate.
know. It could have been justice. It could have been me assuming it was justice. It could have been me on the wrong side all along. There's nothing here now to tell me if it was even successful.
Do you want to find out?
I always want to find out, but that doesn't mean that that's what's going to happen. I've sat for days trying to figure out what happened, and I've never been able to.
You sat for days alone trying to figure out what happened.
Well, it's my brain. It's my memory, which is all messed up with your friend's memory.
So let's figure it out. I have an idea. You see, when I was in that hole for 18 days alone, I did a little thinking. I did a little meditating. Something funny happened. Now I think about it, I was probably just going insane, but I was in my past again. My husband was with me. I could try to help put you in that space. I could try and teach you some method of getting back to that place. It's there in your head. Everything is there. I don't believe that it can be gone. Are you willing to try?
Yeah. Sure, Ma.
Can I try and teach you like basic meditation from the monks?
Vera.
Like a guided meditation, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Give me a wisdom check. And because you're an old grandmother who has done this for her sons, for her grandchildren a few times, I will allow you to add your proficiency modifier to just a straight wisdom check.
Okay. Oh, dang. Oh, not good. 13.
Okay. Liliana, give me a wisdom check with advantage.
Ooh. With advantage. $14. It's probably the highest wisdom I've ever rolled.
Vera, you sit her down, you clear all of the space, you guys like you get the cleaning supplies to scrub the floor of this place, organize everything neatly, and you guys sit down quietly on the floor. Liliana, what's your dexterity? Oh, okay, it's pretty good. Okay, so you guys kind of cross-legged on the floor, and
bad dexterity. My legs don't cross.
You start her on some of the mantras that the monks taught you. And as you start to mutter them, kind of your mind goes blank and you go to where you go when you're meditating. Liliana, you start trying to say them as well. As you meditate, you touch something. Your mind goes somewhere. before it suddenly kind of snaps back, and you realize you lost consciousness for a little bit there, and got close. So you guys do that for a few hours, and it doesn't quite get you there, but you felt something. This is definitely a path to pursue.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
This day ends sometime mid-afternoon the next day. From wherever the rest of you are in camp, you can hear what sounds like a bear roaring, shouts. You can see a couple of tent poles get toppled off in that direction. And when you ask about it, you find out that one of the barbarians went a little bit crazy and has been dragged to the jail. Nick?
How many of them did I take out?
You took out a good 5.
5. Okay.
Yeah.
I also do get 2 bear shapes. So
True. So that'll raise the DC on what they need to. There it is. Okay, we'll call it 7.
fine with me. All right.
At that point, there was a critical mass, and it was like bear shape, haha, gone, down.
Yeah, understood. It's important for Goof, not for
Okay.
Nick, but for Goof. It's important for him.
Guth, you wake up in a cell. There aren't bars here, but it is just a very thick iron banded door set in a fairly strong foundation. Crowded in here with you are about 15 miserable looking kind of assortment of human beings, halfling or 2 and some half orcs, who are all on the other side of this room from you. And you kind of wake up, you kind of snap to focus, and one of your wrists is manacled to the wall.
Okay. I've woken up in weirder places. Can I use cure wounds on myself?
You need a focus for that. I think you need a focus for that, and you do not have any of your stuff. Do you not? Okay. Okay, sure.
It's nature magic. I mean,
The
yeah.
druidic magic still either requires spell component pouch or a druidic focus.
I
Yeah,
don't
I
think.
And I don't know if it's different with the bear totem.
Well,
Come
yeah,
on.
it doesn't have any components for cure wounds. So I mean, like, if I just don't have.
Pretty sure everything requires every spellcasting requires at least some kind of focus. Let me double check that. Spellcasting.
There are no material components for cure wounds, and generally a spellcasting focus replaces material components.
I mean, if anything, I would use my neck tattoos. I don't know if that's like if that's a focus that's been given to me as a shaman, that like it's literally marked on my body and they glow when I use magic. So like I don't know if that's part of my spellcasting. If I can't, it's fine. I assume that's my spellcasting focus because it's not like I hold something when I do anything.
I'll tell you what. We'll figure this out later. For now, give me a straight wisdom check.
Okay.
We'll leave it to the dice. 10. Okay, yeah. 10's fine. You cast Cure Wounds on yourself. Go ahead and roll the D8.
Am I at 1? I assume.
You are at 1.
Tough. All right. I'll put that in there. How do you do it like this? Nope.
No, you just roll your die.
Yeah, just
Okay,
roll it.
it's fine. All right. I mean, I'll just I'll just do it like 3 times. That's a really tough one.
Okay, you burn your spell slots. That's a 1. So
I mean, I would only do it like 3 times, and I have.
So you had 5. Go ahead and give me 2 more.
Okay.
I don't know if it will matter exactly how many, but I also don't know what Guth is going to do, so we're going to do it.
I mean, he just wants to feel better. Okay, so that's 7 plus 9, 16.
16? Okay.
16. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, now I gotta go. This wound thing is so bad. It's so difficult to do backwards. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't
Anyway,
like
so as I'm just like healing myself, and I mean, I assume that the rest of the prisoners see like my neck tattoos glow, and I start chanting in orc. My eyes roll back in my head, and then my wounds close. I don't know how do they respond to that?
If possible, they like scoot closer to the far wall. You are speaking in a guttural foreign language and using magic.
But do the half-orcs understand him?
No. These, yeah. Well, you know what? I'll roll. There's a 25% chance that they do. No. They do not. These are, yeah, never mind.
They're certified half-orcs.
I'll kind of like, I'll kind of snap out of it, and I'll look at the most orcish looking of any of them. So what are you?
As you lock eyes with him, he just kind of.
Well, that's not the very. Okay, can I go for the other one? Can I look for anyone else? I like look at him and just see him freak the fuck out, and then I look at another person.
The reactions among all of them are more or less the same. They're clearly afraid of you.
Well, okay, I was going to ask why you're hanging out in the walls, but now I know. Because you're just fucking terrified of everything. I mean, what? I'm chained to the wall. What am I going to do? I'm going to lunge at him.
Give me a strength check.
Well, I'm not going to try and break it, but I'm just going to lunge at him.
That's fine.
Maybe I'm going for intimidation is what essentially I was like.
Give me intimidation then, yeah.
I'll use the same. That's a 15.
15? Okay, yeah. They flinch. They definitely. One of them kind of runs at the door and is like about to bang on it, and then he notices that you didn't actually like come at them.
Yeah, I hope you have to sleep with that one. That's not going to look good. They're probably going to shit on you a lot for that one. So when do we get out of here? Why are we even here?
There's a small scuffle among them as they decide who you're talking to before one of the half-orcs kind of gets pushed forward, and he's like, I don't know what they're going to do with us. What did you do?
Well, this guy started waving the big stick at me, and then like I tried to break it, and it didn't go well. You know how that you know. And then he, one of those stupid fish men with the scales everywhere. I don't even know why you would wear metal armor. You look like you're shiny or something. Things could see you from forever away. Anyway, so I hit him, and then apparently there's no fucking honor in this whole camp because they all started fighting me. There's no honor, and they wouldn't respect a one-on-one match. Obviously, doesn't really matter. I beat like 7 of them to death, and then they threw me in here because that's some kind of problem or something. I don't think.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, I know what fighting them's like, but they swung swords and threw magic at us.
Yeah, that's what they did. They hit me with the swords and the magic. Yeah.
Oh, because I thought you just said sticks.
I did say sticks.
So it was swords and sticks.
Whoa.
Oh, I don't. I'm just saying. Like there was swords and it was magic at us. And
What are you trying to get from this part of the conversation?
I don't know. You were talking. They pushed me for, and it's just. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. I was just going to leave, but we kind of need to have like a thing here. What's on the ground here? Like, what's the ground?
It's just well swept dirt.
All right, yeah. I'm going to use mold earth. I'm going to just start telling them the grand tale of my forefathers, and I'm going to spend like the next, like, legitimately couple hours just like trying to inspire them and talk to them about why it's important to be strong and why and a lot of like kind of like raising up the orc and the half orcs. Like, you should be proud of your blood. You are strong. You come from this ilk. You come from me. And literally I'm using mold earth and I'm doing like cave shapes and like doing all I can to like try and inspire them.
Right. As you slip over to Austria just a little bit, go ahead and give me a what would that be?
Inspiration.
I'm gonna call it. It'll be wisdom persuasion.
So you want 2 or what?
I'm sorry.
You want wisdom and persuasion added?
No. A wisdom persuasion. So roll a d20. If you're proficient in persuasion, add that, but it's wisdom. Okay, got it. Yeah. 20. Oh yeah. You just go through the whole thing. The half orcs kind of by the end of it are like sitting down, like genuinely listening. One of them has like tears running down just a little bit. And the other one kind of nudges him, and he's like, "Dude, come on, are you not listening?" He's like, "It's what Grandma used to tell me about."
Oh.
And the rest of them are still a little like, "Oh, now it's telling us stories." Like, I don't know, but they have definitely calmed down. And are sitting and otherwise going about their business, occasionally kind of glancing over at you, but you've got the 2 half orcs just enraptured.
Well, a large part of it was talking to like everyone, and like if people start to move away, I'll like snap at them, like, no, this is the good part. Come back here. And like I'm telling them to everyone, like I'm trying because they were all being cowards.
I know you're telling them to everybody, but it's kind of the half orcs that this connects with their kind of ancestry, so they take it more than the rest. But yeah, no, if you are connecting the others, then absolutely, they are all sitting there. One of them falls asleep. It's just like a kind of a light backhand to his face. Kind of wakes up. Nope, listening. Yep, got the whole thing. Yep.
Yeah, sure. Like you have to be there. Like I'm not gonna like say what did I just say, but like I just make sure everyone's attentive. You're teachers, you know what that means.
I mean, when somebody in the Echo starts telling a story, you shut the fuck up and listen. And they didn't know that, but by the end of this, they definitely know that.
Okay. And then as I finish the story, what does the room look like? Like, what is the door? Like, is there a space in the floor of the door or anywhere? Like, is there a window?
There are no windows. There is a heavily like iron banded door, so it's like reinforced with some metal. Honestly, though, there's like a gap. There's a small gap between kind of the stone of the walls and the ceiling. Like, this is clearly not meant to contain anybody who is seriously attempting to escape. Like, the door is pretty solid, but give me a quick perception check. Yeah, 17, no problem. You look around. You're pretty sure you could break through some of these walls. Like this building was not built to be a holding cell, I guess is the long and short of it.
It's not for Guth. How enraptured did, like, give me like an out of 10. How much everyone felt like they were paying attention, or like were moved.
Okay, the half-orcs were paying attention. With a 20, I would say, like, of the 15 of them, there were really only 3 or 4 who were kind of restless and like kind of dozing off, not paying attention, getting distracted, like playing with the dirt. Not the dirt that you're molding, but like just next to where they are.
Okay. I'll look to them and I'll look at like the ones that were attentive and say, so you see, and I like pat on the wall like, this is your cage. This is what binds the spirits from you. This is what prevents you from being great. This authority, whatever they were saying, this is a representation of the wall huggers, of weakness. Break your barriers of weakness. And then I'm just going to turn into a rat and then scuttle off the wall. And I'm just going to go through I'm just going to leave. I'm not going to break it for them, but I'm just going to turn into a rat with wild shape and leave.
Absolutely. As you finish talking, he goes, yeah, but, and then you just there. Cool. So, wild, it's polymorph where you gain the mental stats. With wild shape, you keep your own. Cool. Where are you headed?
I'm gonna be a rat, and I get keen smell, so I'm just gonna try and smell Tarug. I know what he smells like, so
cool. Give me a perception check, and
right.
Don't roll a 1.
Oh, I hope so. I think that's tough, but yeah.
You still add your perception skill to it.
Rats don't have them.
No, but as a druid in wild shape, you retain your mental stats.
Oh, mental. You're right. Okay, so yes, you're
druid here.
Sure,
Yeah.
understood. Okay, yeah, I'm just trying to think. Yeah, you're right. That makes, because I was just saying it makes sense if I'm using its nose.
In wild shape, you use all of your skills and saving throws unless the animal's is higher.
Mm-hmm.
In which case, you use theirs.
Sure. Okay, then that's an 8.
You do not find Tirug, but you also do not attract the attention of any of the griffins in camp.
Oh.
Oh dear. Yeah, nobody wants to find out what happens when a griffin eats a rat that's actually a Goliath.
They'll find out. Okay. Well, then I'll just if I don't smell any of the barbarians, nothing.
It's you don't not find him. It just takes you a while. You kind of find him kind of towards the end of the day.
Yes. I also just kind of scamper for a little bit, and then I realize it's taking too long, and then just turn back into Guth and just walk as Guth on the outside of the jail.
Oh man.
Cool. You do that, and nobody stops you. Nobody says anything to you. A couple of people look at you, and they're like, "Wasn't he?" It's okay. All right.
I just give him a big half-toothed smile, and just keep walking.
Charmed by your smile, they reason that you must have been let out.
Oh boy.
Okay. Anything else you guys want to do before you meet with the commandant?
Yes.
Talium?
Yeah. I would have copied. I had 2 days, right?
Yep.
So, and I have paper and ink because I got them from Kingrave. So I'm copying those 3 scrolls into my spellbook.
And remind me what those scrolls are again?
Phantasmal Force, Major Image, and Fire Shield.
And all of those are levels that you can cast at?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Fire shield. I'll go ahead and add those for you here.
Thank you.
Fire
And I would
shield.
also just get together all of Kingrave's notes.
Fire shield is a 4th level spell.
I thought it was 2nd. Oh,
Fantasy Ground seems to think that it's 4th.
okay. Well,
So-
I can still copy it. I just won't be able to cast it yet, right?
I think you have to be able to cast it.
Okay, then I'll hold on to it. That's fine. I'll copy the other two.
Phantasmal Force is 2nd level. And the 3rd one was what?
Major image.
Your image. Oh no. I roll randomly for the spells that you find.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I'm so afraid.
and then-
Ever since Scanlan used it to basically like fake their way into the city of fucking brass, like
Mhm.
I have
Mhm.
feared this
No,
spell.
no,
in
that was seeming, Josh. That he
Was that-
used.
No,
that was
seeming is when he turned them all into cows.
Maybe it was
regardless.
major image. Whatever. Anyway.
Regardless.
And
So
then,
you copy those spells?
yeah, I copy those spells, and then I'd organize Kingrave's notes.
Yeah.
Chronologically.
Okay.
And I would also like to spend some time going through and cross-referencing any of his stuff against the drawings that I took from Garrett's room.
Okay. You find nothing in Kingrave's stuff about the drawings.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll go ahead and get through this here. So here's what you can do with the notes. So you know 4 things just right off the bat.
Okay.
There are 3 types of were creatures, of lycanthropes. The type he calls anomalies are the rarest, and he knows basically nothing unique about them. Same thing with cursed, those who are lycanthropes because of a curse. Then there are the ones that he refers to as the infected. They're the most common variety. They are usually found hiding out and murdering people in the Combine.
Mm-hmm.
The anomalies and the cursed seem to spread their abilities through their bloodlines and apparently no other way. The common variety spread theirs through the bite. The infection warps the host. They generally become a completely different person. Good. And all varieties are affected more or less the same way by the full moon.
Okay.
2 people in his notes may know more. The first is Darbad Meg, who seems to be something of an anomaly himself. He is both a full member of one of the Orc Echoes of the Central Plains, and he is a teacher and researcher at the university in the imperial city of Felvrima.
Definitely making a note of that.
The second is...
I'm so happy.
I know. Me too.
the second was mentioned in the notes. Where was...
Yeah, that rival wizard, right?
No, it's not the
No.
rival
Okay.
wizard.
Was it the half elf or the elf? you mentioned?
Xanagani.
Okay.
Someone named Xanagani might know more as well. Xanagani claims to have a cure, and there's some correspondence with her and Kingrave. She apparently lives in Banna, which is one of the Combine cities. So that's
Okay.
the first thing you know right off the bat. The second thing, you know the recipes for potions of giant strength of various intensities. Depending on the strength, it requires different parts of the giant to be magically distilled, infused with some rare plants, etc. If you had all of the materials available, it would take you about 7 to 9 months to make a batch.
Okay.
Number 3, you have the complete notes to what he called the binding.
Mm-hmm.
With the right resources, you could recreate this setup.
Okay.
It would cost a truly obscene amount of money, and it would take some time, but it will not take you the 300 years of R&D that it took him, because he
Right.
was inventing the thing. You would need to commission most of the parts. Your best bet, you can tell, would be specialists from the Combine. Assuming you had all of the pieces, Working alone, you could complete it in about 5 years. Working with a dedicated team could reduce that time.
Okay.
4, Kingrave possesses the notes of a wizard named Galder, who was researching a method of creating a portable wizard's tower that could magically teleport either among specially prepared locations or possibly be shrunk to a pocket-sized object that could then be pulled out and resized.
I'm spending a lot of time on this one because this is Talia's dream ever since she was a little girl.
So here's the thing, right? To start with, it would require some extensive rune work.
Mm-hmm.
You would need to find material that could score the stone of the tower, which seemed impervious to everything that you guys had, because there's a lot of runes that you would need to carve into that. You would need a rune master, and then as you would need some kind of jewelry or something similar as a key, and that would have to be made out of some kind of extraordinary material. More would likely be required, but Kingrave was focused largely on the binding ritual. He didn't elaborate much on Galder's work, and most of Galder's work is theoretical.
Okay. Do I know where Galder worked from?
You do not. Kingrave just has his notes.
Okay.
So you've got kind of a starting place for investigating that.
Okay.
So you know those 4 things just right off the bat. Past that, this is a massive collection of more than 300 years of wizardly research. I sadly do not have the DM chops to have 300 years of such material actually written out. I'm sorry.
Josh, I'm disappointed in you. Come on.
Come on, Josh. You were at Pike's Perk for what? Hours this morning. What were you doing all that time?
That was for later. But basically, you have a tremendous resource for research into a lot of areas of Arcana. So with this item in your possession, you have the basics for beginning a lot of projects, and you can do the following. And I'll send you the actual write-up of this, but I'll describe it. Kingrave's specialty was potions, and with a successful DC 15, 17, or 23 Arcana check, you can find the ingredients you can immediately know the ingredients to any common, rare, or very rare potion, respectively, that you want to make. So if you ever want to make a potion, if you can succeed on the Arcana check of kind of deciphering his notes, you will immediately know the ingredients needed. If you succeed by 5 or more, you will also know the precise process required to then make the potion.
Okay.
That's pretty cool.
Try to give me a heads up about specific potions she wants to make so I can figure out both the ingredients and the process.
Sure.
But also feel free to put me on the spot and I'll make something up. It'll be great. So that's the first thing you can do. The second thing is, with a successful DC 20 Arcana check after a full day of study, you can establish a starting point for just about any wizarding project you'd like to pursue. The check is to establish, 1, whether or not Kingrave ever researched something like what you're thinking, and 2, how well you can decipher kind of his stream of consciousness notes. It's not a manual written for something else. This is just kind of his thoughts as he's doing it, so there's a lot left out. So information that you could gain from that are things like the parts that you would need, the names of craftsmen who could do that for you, reference to specific works by other wizards that you could then go and find, references to places where those materials might be found, things like that. It gives you a starting place and a way to say, like, I'm going to try this. Cool, DM, where do I start?
Okay.
After that, you would have to kind of improvise and figure out how you want to make this work, and the rest of that creation process would be yours. But this will seed kind of any such effort like that. In addition, regardless of the success or failure of the check to see if you get to see if Kingrave has researched something like this, you have advantage on 1 Arcana check made during the project itself. And you can choose to use that after rolling, but before any other roll spent on the project. So you couldn't do like all of the rolls and then say, I'm going to go ahead and replace that one. And you can't use it to like persuade the craftsman to do this thing for you.
Right.
But you could use the advantage as you try and describe the magical runes that the craftsman needs to make.
Okay.
Things like that. So that is what you can do with Kingrave's notes.
And that probably takes, between that and the spellcraft, that probably takes most of my 2 days. Or
Yeah, that's going to take your 2 days.
okay. I wouldn't have time to look at the orb and see if it works outside of the tower.
That would take a little bit of investigation, unless you want to risk accidentally teleporting yourself back into those tunnels.
Yeah, I will wait on that.
Probably some investigation for later.
Before we switch, so that I don't forget, can I make those divination rolls for the day of the commandant?
Yes, let's make those divination rolls.
Thank you.
Vera.
I would like to do the same exercise with Liliana on day 2, if she is willing.
Yeah.
And then also do a little meditation on my own path of 2 lives.
12
Okay.
and 14.
Liliana. Vera, go ahead and give me that wisdom check with advantage. Not with advantage, with your proficiency bonus.
Okay.
If you can.
It ain't a lot.
Okay. Liliana, you can make a straight wisdom check for me then.
14.
Same as last time.
It's a magic number.
There is a breakthrough just beyond your grasp.
We got this.
Right there.
Gonna get this.
Right. Vera with a 7. It's difficult. What is it?
Plus proficiency, so it's 10.
Oh, okay. With a 10. Okay. Oh, a 10 then. I'm sorry, I saw the 7. With a 10, Liliana, you do have advantage on that roll.
Oh, awesome. Let me. So should I just re-roll both?
Yeah. Just one more roll. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, hold on. Let me take advantage of. Just re-roll. It's worse.
Okay.
I can't roll well on this system. I hate it so much.
I hate it.
With a 10, that's
Feel you, Mary.
a 10, Vera, is just enough to kind of help out Liliana, and you don't quite have kind of the time or focus to work on your own.
Cool. I'm happy.
Which brings us to the day of your meeting with the commandant. Over the course of those 3 days,
2 days.
2 days. I'm so sorry.
I did just realize something I just realized that I need to go get my equipment. And that means that Guth definitely just realized that I need to go get my equipment. So real fast, he would walk up. He would just walk back to the jail. Is the jail still standing?
Yes.
Oh, he gets sad that he didn't inspire them to break down their cage. He says, "Oh, they're like little tiny turtles, staying in the safety of the shell, but never seeing the light of day." And then I'll just go walk up to the guard and say, "Okay, are you the one with my stuff?"
No.
Your stuff is in the armory. How? And he kind of looks. He looks at the door. He didn't let you out. How did you get out?
I mean, I guess it is your stuff because you beat me in combat, so I can't. I mean, I'd fight you again for them if you'd let me have them back. We can just skip the whole thing. It won't go well for you. If you could just give me back my stuff before I have to take it from you.
Yeah, no, I don't have to do that. I can. You need to get back in there.
That's all. I really don't need to go back in there. Where was the armory? I'll just go get it myself. Obviously, you won't give it to me.
No, I can't let you go. You need to get back into armory. It's a wonder that.
Yes, I said I wanted to go back into. I wanted to go. I'm doing the German thing. Yes, I wanted to go into the armory. Where is the armory?
No, into and the other one kind of opens the door and like gestures you in. And he looks in and the manacle is still latched, it's still kind of tied to the wall.
Oh, no.
I'll just shout into the jail. Look, they opened the door. You can leave. And I just shout that at all of them.
Oh no.
Cool. Give me an intimidation check.
Okay.
This will be with charisma.
Mod 20.
Nice.
Cool. I hate you, Nick. All right. The two half orcs charge the door.
Oh no.
So we're gonna roll contested athletics with advantage for the orcs and advantage for the two guards who also throw themselves at the door. So they get an 11 plus. I'll figure that out. And oh yeah. Okay. The Freeman slam the door, and you hear thud, thud on the other side, but the door is shut and latched.
Oh.
Meanwhile, the legionary actually, one of them draws his sword and says, "Look, I don't want to hurt you, but I can't let you leave."
You walk back from the door.
I'm sorry?
Both of them blocked the door.
One of them has just like latched it, and the other one turned and walked towards you with a drawn blade.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I was just saying if they stopped the door, then like the second I yelled that, I just started walking away. So like, if he wants to chase after me, like I wasn't gonna watch them break out. I just let them know.
It's fine. Give me a stealth check with advantage because you have distracted them with your inspired attempted jailbreaking. Oh my god!
I'm not stealthing. I'll just say, yeah.
You're not trying to sneak away, but it's just kind of like you just wander off into the tents and they don't see or hear you. Cool. You just turn and walk off through the tents, and at some point you hear a, "Hey, where did he go? Shit! We need to find him or we're fucked."
I'll spend the rest. I mean, I didn't want to derail Jenny's thing because I know hers is just exceptionally more important. So yeah, I'm just gonna spend it. I'll just go find the armory, however long that takes, and I'll just ask for my stuff back. And we'll see where it goes from there. But that's my day, essentially. Like,
so here's a fantastic thing. Give me a persuasion check
with charisma.
With charisma.
Nope.
It's a 10. It's still a 10, right? Oh no,
Yeah.
You've got like a minus. Oh god. Cool.
7.
Yeah, he was the one who was yes, I got you for causing trouble in camp. Can I see your requisition order?
Uh-oh. Again with
Like,
the big
like
words.
just the word confuses him.
One of the assistant quartermasters is like, he's a barbarian. He probably doesn't. Oh yeah. When they released you, they gave you a paper, yeah? It would have been like you would have unrolled it, and there would have been like.
I'm just gonna lean forward and just kind of like slam my hands on the desk and say, "May I have my stuff before I take it?" And then just lean forward.
Give me an intimidation check. This one with strength. There you go. That's the check you wanted.
Natural 20.
With a
26.
natural 20, so 26. Look, the assistant goes, look, he's probably just stupid and lost it. Yeah, okay. Look, you can have your stuff, but look, get me the requisition order as soon as you can. Again, it was the papers that they gave you once they released you. It had some small runes. Is that what you write with? Whatever. It will have some runes on it. You bring that or have it sent here, and we can get this squared away. So, you will fetch your equipment. Your equipment is returned to you, and you walk out of there very happy with yourself. Meanwhile, you can hear just off kind of in that corner of the camp where the cell was, you can hear some shouting and some tramping of feet, and definitely some large group of people moving around with purpose. And you just kind of totally not caring, just kind of continue on your way through camp. All right, cool.
That's me. That's my day. I'll go to the mess hall. That's
Oh, man.
All right. I'm just going to go ahead and roll a quick perception check for the people looking for you. You pass your day totally unmolested. You kind of, you watch as Guth kind of walks out the other door to the mess hall right as a squad kind of comes in looking around. And before long, they kind of hustle out like, all right, he's not in here. We've got to find him.
Stooges. That is so Three Stooges.
It really is. All right. Thank you, Nick, for making a fool of my Vreeman soldiers. We will move forward. Without really knowing why, you just kind of decide to lay out your stuff and sleep on the roof tonight. It's just like somewhere in your subconscious, you're avoiding them, but not really. It's just, this is the way. So you guys eventually go to the commandant. Is there a conversation you guys wanted to have before that, or are you guys just walking in?
Talia, have you told us about Garrett? Because I would ask, because we heard when we first came in, Stefan said he's locked up. So I would totally ask, like, wait a minute, to you.
If you asked, then yes, I would have told you. I would have told you the whole thing about it's my fault. He got in trouble because he gave me his holy symbol. He didn't have his powers anymore, and now they're holding him unfairly, and I should be the one in trouble, not him. And I'm sure that I can make the commandant listen to me. Somehow, if she doesn't, I'll write to the High Chancellor myself. And I can testify at his court-martial. I can do all sorts of things.
I just
I'm pretty panicked.
Yeah, I'll just assure you that I'll back you up, whenever you're trying to convince somebody.
All right.
And if any lying needs to be done, I know you have a little bit of a problem with that. I'm happy to do it. Shall we work them out now? Keep our lies consistent?
What do you think we need to lie about, Vera?
I was just covering a base.
All right, well, throw your best lies at me and let's see if any of them hold water.
Well, you seem to have made the point that, or Garrett told you that if our discoveries were of great value to the Empire, perhaps that might speak well for him at his court-martial, and they sort of are, but a little mild exaggeration wouldn't be amiss.
So what sort of mild exaggeration did you have in mind?
Well, so we did discover this magical ritual, I suppose, that you have prevented from going off. We could perhaps exaggerate that potential aid to the Vreemans in their takeover of West Bishop, rather than just as a magical curiosity.
Of course, that would be useful, but I also know how to duplicate the ritual. I have spent the last couple of days studying the wizard's notes, so I know how that could be duplicated. And I mean, surely an army of people. Sorry, quick clarification, DM, before I dig myself into a hole here. Is this a one once and you're done sort of ritual? Or is it possible to like use the same circle and glyphs and expensive gem stuff more than once if you can get the fire elementals?
The ritual has never gone off and is entirely theoretical at this point. It is possible. That everything is consumed. It is possible that none of it is consumed, and you just pop another elemental into that lattice and chug away.
Okay. So how sound do I find? Obviously, I'm not terribly learned, but do I get a sense that Kingrave, like the shitty potions on the side, was just a sham to make money? But that's no reflection of his true talent, right? Do I get a sense that he actually is a talented wizard who knows what he's doing?
So yeah, from what you saw, yeah, like everything on the upper levels is clearly the front, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is like, ooh, he's a crazy spooky wizard who does weird things, and like he's a wizard, but really he's just harmless and kooky and fine, and we generally ignore it.
Right.
Right. I mean, the whiskey right on the table next to where the right townspeople would lay and like say their right. Clearly, that's just an excuse for him to go, right? I need this for my, inner eye to work. When really I'm just bored out of my fucking mind and want to go do real things.
Okay.
From what you saw underneath, he's no like world breaker, but what he lacked in raw ability, he made up for in an obscene amount of time and a lot of care.
Okay.
Very, very, very careful. So more powerful than you, like some of this stuff is not what you could do. He is not on par with Kelfier.
Okay, that's what's going to be my next question he's not. Okay. But he has had a lot of time, and I carefully have never asked Kelfier just how old he is.
Right.
Okay. Well, I don't know, it's also, it is a magical curiosity, and it is an untried theory, but there's potential that this could be very useful to the Legion. If they can send in a fleet of people like their Griffin riders, they could have a whole fleet of fire elemental / people. It could be very useful, yes?
It could be very useful. Or, it could blow itself to Kingdom Come and they'd have some distraction for the ghouls.
That's true. I don't know that the destruction would be immense. I mean, it's obviously going to be catastrophic, but I don't know that it's enough to level the entire city.
No. By the way, before we go in, can this conversation be relatively on the DL? Before we go?
You guys are currently being led by a runner to the commandant's command post, but you guys can drop back a little bit, sure.
I'll just say quietly, perhaps I should have asked this question earlier. I think I just thought I knew the answer. What do they want with Worcestershire?
I have no idea. I mean, maybe the port access? I mean, that's always what Worcestershire, but I don't have to explain the trade relations of the alliance to you.
You guys did have a conversation with the commandant.
But it seems to me they want to conquer Worcestershire. But does that mean occupy it, absorb it into the empire, make it into an imperial city?
From your conversation, you know that the immediate goal is to reestablish connections across the inland sea.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because I guess the real question is, do they want it intact? I mean, how intact do they need it?
Well, it's not very intact at the moment.
Oh.
You're welcome to ask.
I think I might.
Right.
You guys are led to the commandant's door. You guys knock, come in, and you guys kind of open the door and all file in. As Guth walks in, one of the runners kind of walks by, like it's like running up to the door, sees Guth, and he's kind of holding a piece of paper and goes, and he looks at Vera, because you and Talia are hanging back, and goes, could you give this to Commandant?
Of course.
Whoops, sorry.
I'll take it.
Thank you. And he just kind of watches in confusion as all of you go in. Guth, I assume you're kind of walking in backwards, giving him that giant grin. Okay.
I like that he's scared. It's funny to me.
The door shuts. Aria is just finishing up, kind of rolling up what looks like a map of the camp, kind of setting it off to the side. Yes, you wanted to see me. It was urgent, they said.
Is there any food in here?
There's a small plate on the commandant's desk of mostly eaten rations.
Okay. I just stand there.
But, Commandant, yes, it was. It would have. Well, of course, you've been very busy, I'm sure. We're here to give our report, and I would like to discuss the situation with Garrett with you.
Yes, I was surprised to hear from you that you were not dead. What did you find?
Quite a lot, actually. We lost Osmandius, and my master escaped and is currently at large. The mother only knows where.
Yeah, the Jawbone squad will be very disappointed to hear of Oz's loss. They were quite impressed with his prowess. Something about leaping from a roof and then ripping the jaw out of a still living, by all reports, quite large ghoul. They renamed their squad after him.
That is pretty fucking cool. You guys said he turned into ash. That's something pretty. And like, you just see Oz get kind of sad again about not having met this dude.
Good.
Being good.
Oh yeah. Well, Oz does get sad. Guth gets sad, and that yeah.
Yes, the reports were quite impressive.
Yes. Well, he was a very impressive person, and no one will miss him more than we.
Of course. What did you find? It's a tower. Did you find what you were hoping for?
Well, I found some things I didn't expect. I don't know what Oz was hoping for. We were just supporting him, really. We were trapped inside a labyrinth of some sort for, it must have been about 18 days before we finally found our way out.
That would explain the conductor's report makes more sense now.
Yes. And my master had been trapped in there longer, but he had more assistance.
This is the one who wants to kill you.
Yes, and the one who did kill Oz.
Huh.
So perhaps, if I may be so bold, the Jawbone squad, if you should send them down into the city, tell them to look out for him, and they could have their revenge upon him if they wished. But
Indeed.
he is extremely dangerous.
If the wizard escaped evil, I will be telling the squads to avoid him.
Probably for the best.
So you were trapped. The powerful wizard is still at large. Is that all?
There is beneath the tower a very powerful and potentially devastating device of arcane nature that very nearly could have blown up in our faces and taken us all with it. And with the mother's guidance, I was able to forestall that disaster. Guidance that I could not have had without the gift that Garrett bestowed upon me. But there is a incredible, complicated, arcane mastery, really, down there. And I'll just describe in detail what it looked like, the diamond, the whole work.
Get a couple minutes in before she kind of raises her hand. Look, I will have you write a detailed report, and you can put all of this in there. So it is not an immediate threat, but you say that the wizard was after it. Is the ritual secured?
It's not going to blow up, but I didn't have any way of securing it. Possess that sort of capability.
So the moment you left, he could very well have returned and completed the ritual.
He could have. I don't know. I don't know if he can find. I don't know if he can find it, because there's a construct that guards the tower, and this lot thought it would be a good idea to destroy it, and clearly my master had thought the same track, and that is what trapped us in the labyrinth. So it was only upon our successful exit from the labyrinth by discovering its illusions.
None of the things that you are saying, things that the wizard could simply have turned around and completed the ritual. Is this a possibility?
Would I know if you had to escape or be let out? Like, would I know that he could just walk into the room? Would I know if that was the case?
You don't.
I honestly don't know. Abjuration is not my school of specialty. I'm not familiar with. I don't know. I'm sorry.
So at any point, a wizard of apparently unimaginable power could arise and storm his way through the city.
Yes.
All right, I will also need from you an extensive report on what his possible goals may be, and the most likely paths that he will take to accomplish them. Is there anything else? And she glances down at the note and looks over at Guth. Several of your new friends have been causing a consternation with my troops. You are supposed to still be in the jail.
Huh? Guth had zoned out for like, Guth zoned out minutes ago. Like, just was looking for food and it wasn't there, and just kind of stayed and really thought about leaving for half of that.
I was given to understand that this one spoke common, and it was the other one. Perhaps we will start with the other one first, then, while this one gathers himself. Why is the one who cannot speak bothering my female lieutenants?
I'm not sure, but he actually did that to us as well.
Did Vera pulled a lot of insight checks earlier? Did she figure out the whole romantic situation in the shaman's club?
Yeah, you definitely knew that there was something going on between Tira, Guth, and Yvester.
Mm-hmm. That is, forgive me if I break in, Commandant, a intimate personal matter amongst our shaman friends?
Indeed, but it ceases to be personal when it starts to cause problems with my officers. So, if you wouldn't mind, could you have your large friend explain it to me? You do speak common, don't you?
He does.
What's the problem?
Goose.
Yeah.
One of your other shamans is causing trouble with my lieutenants.
How? What is he doing?
He is bothering them at all times of day, often when it is rather inappropriate. And they are unhappy with it.
I mean, I feel like you should probably take that up with him. That has nothing to do with me.
Can I just go like, what?
So you would not object then if I had him cast from the camp or killed if he refuses to comply?
I mean, if you could stop him, sure. I mean, I just don't see what the problem is. What is he doing? You said bother? What do you mean by that? What is he doing?
This conversation is clearly not going very far. So if you can simply assure me that neither you nor your friends will intervene, then this conversation is over.
Sure, fine.
Commandant, with your permission, may I explain what I believe the situation to be? Perhaps this might be clarifying.
Of course.
Goose. Dearie. Your friend Yvester is in love with you.
Who's Deary?
Tirog is in love with her. So he is currently anywhere he can find.
Okay, well then clearly Tarug isn't strong enough and isn't worthy of Yvester.
Yes.
Sure, okay. What a revelation! I always knew he was a small person, so I don't.
Goose.
Are you suggesting that if this one is Goose, if Goose and Tirog were to combat each other in front of the female, that this would be ended?
That sounds barbaric.
That could be good for morale. Goose, are you searching for a small enough word? This is okay for you?
I'm going to ignore that condensation. And
and then goes. and you can see, the rest of you can see just this very small smile for the first time stirring the lip.
Condensation.
And I will say I have no reason to fight Goof. I am Goof. I have no reason to fight Tarug. And I mean, if he fights me, I have nothing to win from him. We are both shamans in search of our spirits, and therefore I have.
That's not entirely true, as currently you are responsible for putting 7 of my soldiers out of commission. And
well, I think I'm responsible because they hit me, because I was only hitting one of them, and then they all attacked me. So more than anything, it seems like they got themselves involved in a fight that they could not win, and that's not my problem.
I can see how that would make sense to you, but at the moment, you have caused a problem among my soldiers, and they have a large battle coming up very soon, and it would be quite helpful if you could provide some distraction for them. So, as Commandant, if you agree to stage this spectacle for the soldiers, I don't care how you do it, but make it convincing, then I will drop the charges against you, and I will not have you killed or imprisoned for good this time.
When she says "Have you killed?" I just laugh at her. That's a good one. Sure, I'll fight him. You have no what is that authority over me that you guys all keep saying you don't, or whatever. That I don't. Did I use that right? What does that mean?
Yes, authority.
You don't have the stick.
What?
You don't have the stick. You have no stick.
I don't have a stick. Are you being suggestive? Is this common among your people? I mean, the stupid one is doing it, and now you're doing it.
I don't understand. You said you have. I'll fight him. Sure. I mean, if he has a, I'll do it. But
If
we will set it up for tomorrow, and after that, we will have to get down to preparations. But tomorrow it is. Thank you. Talia, was there something else?
yes, I mean, the rest of you certainly don't have to stay here for this if you don't want to. She probably blushes just a little bit. It's slightly personal.
Oh man! Rolled a check for her.
How'd
you
it
wish-
go?
You wish to talk about Gert? Yes.
Yes.
What about?
Well, I think that, Commandant, from what I have seen of your establishment here, that you run a very just and honorable camp, and you are a very just and honorable commander.
You may dispense with the flattery and simply say what you wish to say.
I'm not flattering you. I honestly believe these things to be true.
So that doesn't change the fact that the reason you're saying them is not for my benefit. So, if you would tell me what you wish.
It is not Gert who is responsible for the fact that he failed you and the Legion. I am the one who is responsible. It is on my head, not on his.
So you pinned him to the ground and you took his focus.
Of course not.
You snuck into his room while he was sleeping and you stole it.
No. I expressed
Then I'm
fear.
confused how, without his agency, you came to be in possession of his means of performing his duties.
I came to Gert and I learned from him the ways of Silhaloon, or I began to. And before we went into the city, I expressed my fear for what this adventure may hold for me, especially at the hands of my master. And Gert, because he's a true and honest and loyal, honorable man, gave me his symbol. He told me I had to come back before the end of the day, and I promised to do so. It is my honor
I see. So
that was impugned, not his. I did not fulfill my end of the bargain.
I agree. And that is shameful, and it has resulted in severe penalties for Gert. However, you seem to be making your argument from the position of intention. And believe me when I tell you that when thousands of men come far from home, to fight for their empire and a support that they have every right to expect will be there is not. That intention, frankly, does not matter. What matters is that my soldier has a responsibility that he failed to uphold, and regardless of the reasons, it stems from his own willing disabling of a key facet of the Legion. So, I understand that you and Gert have been growing close, but I cannot simply let him go.
But he is of no use to you where he is. If he were reunited with that symbol of his, I believe that he could become useful to you again.
I will not waste an asset, and when the time comes, he will be allowed to serve. But until that time, he will remain a prisoner. He will remain stripped of rank for dereliction of duty and for crippling a member of the Legion.
May I ask you a question, Commandant? I admit
Yes.
Riemann customs are new to me. Do you punish generals who lose battle?
You do not,
Why not?
unless it was through incompetence or stupidity.
What about through sheer human error? A lack of information?
Is it sheer human error for me to get blind drunk right before a battle so that when I'm supposed to be commanding troops to the best of my ability, I am hungover and distracted and otherwise unable to organize the battle to maximum efficiency?
I usually fight pretty well when I'm drunk. I don't know if that's a you thing or a me thing. I do.
That is one scenario, Commandant. I was thinking more of, do your legions ever engage local allies?
I apologize. Ma, I apologize for interrupting. I do not mean disrespect, but you have not answered my question. Is that simple human error for me to disable myself before combat?
No, it is a complete, utter incompetence and negligence. However, I don't necessarily see that as perfectly parallel. May I offer another scenario?
By all means, let us argue this analogy.
Surely out of curiosity of Riemann custom as well, I don't quite understand how the army works, never been in one myself. Does the Riemann army ever engage local scouts or local allies?
Is this a joke? Your friend Oz was one such for many months, and you yourself recently.
Yes. Say in this scenario, a general before battle places his trust in one of these auxiliaries, and the auxiliary fails in his duty. Was the general negligent to trust this man?
Your ignorance of Freeman military organization is understandable. Gert is not a tribune. In fact, he barely qualifies as an officer, and thus he has no authority whatsoever to dispense orders or Legion equipment to auxiliaries.
Just give him a stick.
But I'm aware that the parallel, again, is unclear over who has authority. My question is simply in the philosophy of Reed, where does the responsibility lie if an auxiliary fails in his trust? It has nothing to do with the Riemann in question, whether he's a general or a tribune or a mere priest.
Real quick, sorry, I'm forgetting my own Riemann organization here, so let me find which tribune I need.
what's really funny is we're debating the legal principle of mens rea right now.
Yeah, seriously. I feel like I'm like in a law class. Like this is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Which is guilty mind.
There it is. The tribune of the walls has authority over the auxiliaries.
So say it is the tribune of the walls, places trust in, say, a man like Oz, an auxiliary, and that trust is betrayed. Who holds the responsibility for the failure?
The auxiliary is responsible for the failure, and the tribune of the walls oversees the punishment. But the tribune of the walls is specifically trained and has authority over the auxiliaries, of whom the priester is one. In giving your friend the only thing that makes him an asset to the Legion, and the only thing that allows him to complete his responsibilities and perform his duties in and outside of battle, Gert was taking on the role of his own superior officer. And if the tribune of the walls was somehow in granting trust to one of those under their authority, in doing so crippled themselves and rendered themselves incapable of performing any of the other duties, then yes, the tribune would be responsible for the failure. Not of the auxiliary. We are not holding Gert responsible for Talia's failure to return this object. Gert is responsible for dereliction of duty.
For handing over the object in the first place, is what you're saying.
Indeed.
So there's lots of big words being said, and I'm getting kind of bored. And I would leave, but there's dudes with like sharp spears or whatever. I'm not scared of them, but I keep getting in trouble for hitting those people for some reason. Regardless, as I would say in my tribe, when there has been a wrongdoing, when someone has failed the tribe, because if you can't believe with me because for some reason you think I am some oaf or savage and can't understand big words, I will say this in my small words that you expect me to know. If somebody fails the tribe, then it's between the people that get hurt because of that, whether it is wastefulness or it is the people who are attacked by whatever. It's not a good case for me. That whatever dinosaur hits them. The thing is, if this Gert has hurt anybody, that's between him and them, and I don't know why there's some big outcry. You know, I met her when she was crying, so I guess it might be like a personality trait of hers. But then we should probably have this Gert talk to them, right? It's between them, and I just feel like there's a bit of we're using big words to punish people for being weak, and weak people are punished by being weak. And that's just the nature of it. But maybe he should talk to those people. How many people were hurt by him not being there?
Bruce, I apologize. I was rude earlier. What you do not understand is that our society does not work like yours, and while yours may work very much along the lines of personal relationships, ours does not. Green stands on the strength of her legions and her laws. And what you're asking me to do is to violate a law to make up for another violation of law. And I cannot do that. This matter is closed now. Is there anything else that you wish to talk about? If not, I would suggest that you begin preparing the supply that you missed last time will be returning in 6 days. Actually, in 3 days at this point. No, I'm sorry. The supply, where are my dates? The supply will be returning in 6 days, but before that, we must survive the next full moon.
May I beg a favor, Commandant?
May I ask?
May I see him every day?
Give me a persuasion check.
Okay. Oh shit. 11.
You may see him every day. You may join him for one meal.
Thank you.
That will give you half an hour, and you will be bound by strict oaths. You will do nothing to encourage him to flee. You will do nothing to encourage him to violate any other laws. And you will do nothing to encourage him to do anything other than show the utmost respect for the Empire and his fellow soldiers.
He needs no. He would never do any of those things.
I do not think that he would. I wish to make sure that you do not, in a fit of passion, encourage him to attempt it.
No, that would be foolhardy. Of course not. I have the
So-
utmost respect for the entire establishment here.
And so you swear.
I swear.
Okay. You feel kind of that light tingling sensation from head to toe.
Put that down.
Yeah, write that down exactly.
I have told you many times, write down exactly any oath that you make to agreement.
I do need to know what the laws are.
Yeah, what the second oath was.
So that second oath was sort of like an umbrella thing, encompassing a lot. So I need to know what the laws are so I don't accidentally do something stupid.
Yeah, you should probably ask Garrett about that before you encourage him to do anything.
Okay.
May I ask her one clarifying question, which is also just that I might have misheard? What is his actual punishment going to be? Because he seems to think he's going to be court-martialed, but she didn't say that.
He will be. He has been stripped of rank for the moment. He will be returned to the Imperial City for court-martial, and his replacement will be arriving this resupply in 6 days.
And will he be going with the resupply back to the Imperial City?
Yes, as I believe you all intend to do, yes?
Yes. All right.
Yes.
Thank you.
Um,
And thank you for being so frank. I admit being a Raymond command is confusing to me. I grew up in a rather filled with authority, but in a rather looser structure, shall we say?
Sorry, did I miss part of that? I thought. What were you asking?
Oh, I was just thanking her for talking to me about authority.
Gotcha. I'm sorry. It sounded like the beginning of another question. Like I don't know much about. Gotcha. Okay. Of course, I am always happy to enlighten.
I'm sorry, Commandant. I have one more question. I left a good deal of my belongings here because we intended to come back. I don't know what happened in the intervening time.
Yes. All of your things have been taken to the armory and distributed to the Hexen. But those can, of course, be regathered as it seems you are, of course, alive. So
Thank you.
those things will be returned to.
And shall I report at the same time tomorrow? Per our previous arrangement.
Indeed. Setting aside the unfortunate tone of this conversation, Talia, and you notice Rusonia is not in here. If you intend to continue helping, I am so very glad to see you, both on a personal and professional level.
Thank you.
Same time in the morning. Thank
Yes.
you. And your pouty friend over there, Liliana, was there anything that you wish to talk about, or were you just tagging along?
Tagging along. I like to be informed.
As do I. Thank you. Talia, if when you arrive in the morning, you could provide me with those reports. Thank you. And we will return to that.
Yes.
If there's nothing else, thank you very much. I suggest you prepare well. We were quite fortunate in the full moons that you missed, but they are aware of our capabilities now. I expect them to attempt to counter them.
I'm so sorry. Can I wait until Talia leaves and stay and ask one more question?
Yeah, you are welcome to remain behind. If nobody else has anything, then the rest of you kind of file out.
Well, if I
Yes.
notice that Vera is not coming, I'm going to wait outside the door for her.
Okay, you wait outside the door for her. Yes, there was something?
Yes. I understand that the results of our little expedition into Worcestershire certainly seemed on the negative side, but I suppose I wanted to clarify what your end intentions are for the city of Worcestershire, because a powerful wizard bothering the ghouls there could work in your favor, but I don't understand the full situation here. If in your ideal world, what would happen in Worcestershire?
Are you asking me personally or as the commandant?
As the commandant, I wish to know the Vreeman's stance on the matter, which I hope is public knowledge.
As the commandant, I cannot disclose long-term or strategic plans of the empire to a civilian contractor.
Well, not plans, goals.
The two are closely tied.
One
and,
is the end, is the means to the end. I have no interest in your secrets.
what you're asking for, if disclosed to our enemies, could lead to problems with those goals.
Do you want Worcestershire as part of your empire? You've made it no secret. None of your lovely soldiers have made it a secret. That
Nothing.
is the way of life superior, and that is the way of all flesh.
Yes. Ultimately, I see. Yes, the wish of the empire is that all will come to see the value of honor and law and true civilization. And in doing so, we can have a better world and begin to take back what the stories say once was ours.
So, in your ideal world, as I mentioned at the beginning, Worcestershire would naturally be cleared to you, would be cleared of blood magic and these dragonborn priestesses and their influence, and would be converted to the human way of life.
Indeed. The blood magic is inimical to what we hope to create.
Yes. I guess my question is, How much of the city do you want standing at the end of this?
Preferably all of it. Needless destruction is...
Well, needless is of course nonsense, but needful.
I just rolled a quick intelligence check for her. You see the light bulb. Oh. That eventuality cannot be ruled out. As I said, if we have any plans in that direction, unless you choose to become part of our plans and swear oaths accordingly, I cannot give you that information.
Understandable. I guess my question is Bream more interested in the physical structure of the city, its location, or are you interested in its people?
As far as I know, the people are gone. So once
Not gone.
in the camps, we will make every attempt to save, but I will not lose my legionnaires on the account without excellent chance of resounding success.
So they are clearly not your primary interest. That sounded like judgment. It actually was said with no judgment. If she insight checks me.
All people who wish to follow... I'm sorry. Getting private messages. Yes, if they can be saved, we would of course do so. All sentient life is potentially valuable.
But if you could have the city in this location cleared of fools, cleared of dragonborn, and cleared of all citizens, then Dream shall have at least partial chance.
Indeed.
Interesting. Frankly, it was unclear to me. So thank you.
Indeed. If I may ask, what is your stake in this? You are not like any of the others.
My stakes seem to change every moment, but following this conversation, to be honest, I want my city to be in a secure and advantageous position. Mutually advantageous, I hope. But I don't want it to be Worcestershire.
If at all possible, the Empire will not destroy that which it hopes to save, and thus by doing so, a greater goal can be accomplished. You can see what has resulted from refusing imperial guidance. Worcestershire is this necropolis which, without us, would be wholly consumed by the undead. And from what you have told me, your city is starving. No one else is doing anything about it.
Well, working on it.
Indeed, that was not, I apologize, that was not meant to be an insult to you. That was, none of the other great cities have lifted a finger to restore Worcestershire or assist Onisha. It is only the Empire with the strength and the will to extend past our own borders to help you.
Yes, that's it. You say it in those terms, and that's exactly what I want. I want your help. I want your assistance. And we're prepared to pay for it. What I don't want, I suppose, is utter assimilation.
You have concerns about the oaths.
I have concerns about people who are born in Onashur, Onashuran? We're Onashuran entirely. Losing themselves in your empire. Conformity.
Are your people not already lost?
They've not lost themselves, no.
Indeed, they have not lost themselves, but what I mean to say is their selves are weak and divided and helpless. I wish to help. The Empire wishes to show them a different self, one that is unified and capable.
And under the stick, as my friend would say.
The stick is only used when persuasion fails.
You're suggesting that if every citizen in Honest agreed to be Freeman, agreed to certain laws, agreed to a certain treaty, you would not besiege them.
If Anashur welcomed Freeman leadership, then no, there would be no need of military action.
There's the thing, Freeman leadership. What about Freeman cooperation, Freeman treaty?
We are getting into the specifics that are beyond my authority to agree to, and I will not put the Empire's ambassadors at a disadvantage by appearing to promise or make claims on political territory that is not mine to speak up.
Frankly, I'm a civilian, as you say, and I speak up with utter honesty. I have no authority to make agreements for my city either. However,
but your patron, this Samvelhain, does, as you have said, and you are the contact with him. So, should you choose it, then you will have whatever authority you need. If, for instance, the Empire refuses to speak to any ambassador other than yourselves.
you are making the assumption that I trust Councillor Samvelhain as far as I can throw him. Of course.
Liliana suddenly gets like a niggling in the back of her head, like, I trust Sam Valhain, and then why do I trust him? I don't know him.
At this point, Vera, she kind of fumbles down in a drawer, pulls out a couple of kind of rough steel, like army, like tin cups that look large enough that like this could be used for drinking or kind of eating some kind of super stew out of. Hands you one and pours both of you some wine. As this seems to have become a little bit more, this is less of a negotiation and a little bit more of kind of like a tangential brainstorm. So she scoots the wine over to you.
I don't normally drink, but thank you. And I'll take a sip.
Okay. Good.
Perhaps this is, again, we're two people with no authority to make any decisions. I'm merely speaking to you as a representative of the Bremen. I speak as a representative of at least some of Anasher. Do you see where I'm coming from? At all?
Indeed. But what I am saying is that Anasher being in the position that it is requires our help. And if the Empire refuses help, unless you are granted the authority to negotiate on their behalf, then you will have all of the authority you need.
Yes, I'm speaking more generally. Do you understand why I don't want Anasher to become a vassal or a fully integrated part of the Bremen Empire?
Indeed. You have been indoctrinated by your culture into thinking that this independence and this republic, that is what you have, yes, the republic? Well, you have the rich people ruling, so something like that. Yeah, you have been indoctrinated into thinking that this makes you strong, that this makes you capable of withstanding what the world brings. But I hope that you can see, I mean, look at the city around you and your own city. I hope that you can see that this is failing you.
It seems to me, indoctrinate is a strong word. I mean, in a way, as we all grow up indoctrinated into whoever we are, but I've listened to your young soldiers talk about the Bremen Empire, and they seem equally indoctrinated to believe that your system is the best way of life. It seems to me that we all must be open-minded.
Open-minded was the other terms that I was thinking of. Yeah, so perhaps the strength of conviction itself is not enough to establish the superiority of one system over another, but perhaps we might argue from results then?
Well, you cannot Bremen's result.
I'm sorry, what did you say? The first part of that cut out.
You could argue with Bremen's results from a certain point of view.
And how would you argue with that?
You have a very stable society as far as what I know of it. You're capable of advancement based on merit. And certainly you feed yourselves.
I'm so sorry, I thought that you were arguing against the Freeman Empire.
I'm naming the good things that I see. What I do not see, or what gives me pause, is, and frankly, my new friend Goop has been causing me to re-examine the idea of authority, but it seems that everything that is done must be done with permission.
I'm sorry, was that it? Yes, of course.
And ultimately that permission goes all the way up the hierarchy to whom?
Well, in my case, it is to the High Chancellor. And in your case, it is to the person with the fattest pockets.
Well, or the sharpest blade, let us be honest with ourselves. A pocket's nothing to a blade.
Indeed, but have I heard wrong about the leadership of Anasher? Are they all cut process as you suggest?
Manner of speaking.
This is fascinating. How have you survived this long?
Or not.
That's your point.
Yes. We have, for most of our history, as I understand it, been a fairly successful mercantile power.
There have been ups and downs, but yeah.
Can you give me? I honestly don't understand Onisher that much either. Can you give me a historical equivalent? Because
in my defense, you guys left Onisher, and that whole like learning the city and working that storyline was just like, no, we're going across the sea.
Know that. I would know.
Yeah.
I would die. 17th century Netherlands?
I was going to say, yeah, something like maybe Venice, like economically and politically, sort of. What's another good one? Kind of like, I don't know if this makes sense. Actually, of anybody in the group, this would probably make the most sense to you. Take away basically all of the maritime territory, confine it all to one city with exclusive control over a trade route, and mash like Carthage and Venice.
Okay. Okay. That's interesting.
Grace goes, all right, I'm ready to have this argument now.
Like, I'm trying to get into why Vera would want to keep it the way it is, which means there are positives.
Right, like Vera wants to keep it the way it is because Vera is part of a crime family.
Yes.
Which under the Vreeman Empire will be extraordinarily difficult to control. Now, you get the sense that the commandant knows that you are not the sharp, intelligent, but otherwise mild-mannered grandmother that you are, but she is not aware of your family connection. That she just does not know about you.
But it's also what I'm kind of basing it on is that it's that Venetian / Dutch kind of like
it's a mercantile. Yeah, it's a mercantile city by like position on the continent. There is no other way to get stuff from one side of the continent to the other except by ship all the way around the southern coast of the continent. But societally, yeah, it's an oligarchy. It is explicitly ruled by the 12 most powerful merchants, who just keep the money moving through, and it trades in basically everything. Most of the slaves that come out of the hegemony go through Onisher, Westishire, and then to the borderlands or the Combine. All of the metal that goes to the west from the Combine goes through Onisher. I mean, it is Onisher and Westishire were by position the wealthiest places on the continent.
Okay, I'm so sorry for the dry lore dump, people, but this is very helpful to me. Can I just ask, what is the economic situation of Imperial Bream? What is their economic system?
So they are landlocked, but they are roughly near the center of the continent. You know it's gonna be juicy and exciting when the first line is, well, the city is landlocked. So let me get out my easel here. Dream makes Give me a history check.
Oh God. Because I would also be asking this of her if I didn't know it.
Sure. Oh, yeah. Go ahead and give me the check, and I'll tell you what you know or what she tells you. We'll go ahead and wrap up here in a minute. Okay.
17.
History. 17. Vreem makes a large part of its money actually from adventuring groups.
Okay.
Dream is the only country, well, city, in this world they're basically the same thing, is the only one that really makes a concerted effort to gather adventuring groups together. The commandant calls them Jaeger parties. Gathers them together and sends them on joint expeditions to take out ruins and threats that are too large for one or two. I think you guys knew about one of the largest ever. I think I've told you about this one. They marshaled something like 2,000 adventurers and threw them at Handalore to kind of purge the demons from the ruins. But Vreem charges a lot of money just to get inside the walls. And as a convenient stopping point between the Borderlands and Westishire and the Combine in Westishire, a lot of people come through there. So basically, everybody who enters the Empire pays something just to be there.
And if I'm not mistaken, are they completely self-sustained, basics-wise, as in food?
Absolutely. That great point. They actually ship a massive amount of grain to pretty much all of the other cities except for the hegemony.
So I guess my question would be, if every single other city on the continent did not exist, Bream would be fine.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, there pretty much no other city, aside from like small patches and like roof gardens, has arable land. Like livestock, not a lot. People don't have a lot of that. And arable land, they simply don't have. Most cities subsist on fish, magically produced food, and then basically Vreeman grain. Vreem has thousands of square miles of land contained within their wall. Their wall is hundreds of miles long.
I know this is, I'm so sorry that this is boring. Yeah. Right to the end of the 9 o'clock, but who actually owns the land?
That Vera wouldn't know, but the commandant tells you that it is primarily owned by Vreeman nobility and soldiers of distinguished service.
Okay, I can throw that back in her face, but we are out of time. Because owning the entire property.
But do we have to be out of time? I could keep talking. Okay.
I might email you.
But I want people to know. I want more people to know about this, Vera.
Also,
cool.
good luck with the emails. He always returns those.
Yeah,
Always.
totally.
Just without fail.
Josh is known for returning every email promptly.
So you finish out the next hour or so debating politics and international relations and property distribution with the commandant.
Cool.
Okay, it is now. It was 2 days. This is the 3rd, 12th. It is the 14th. So 15th. You guys have 3 days basically to make whatever preparations that you would like before the blood moon, the red moon. Sorry, the full red moon. There we go. I got it. So when we come back, we'll run through that real quick. For the sake of time, if you want to just send me whatever your thoughts and ideas are, and I'll prepare, and we can move through that at the beginning of next session and get on to the fight. And then 3 days after that, the resupply arrives, and you guys can be on your way to Vreem, which I think you set out for like 20 episodes ago.
Mhm.
Something like that.
Something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
This has been a long arc.
It has.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Sorry, Josh, just for clarification for date purposes, are we in the next month after Kenebna? Which is the
yeah, you guys are in Candles.
candles. That's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah, today is the 15th of Candles.
Candles. Okay. And this is the second or third day since we returned to the camp.
This is the 1, 2. Oh, hold on. It was that day, and then it was 1, 2. Yeah. This is the third day that you've been in the camp.
Okay. Thank you.
Hold on. You got back on the 12th, and then 13th and 14th. Fourth day. This is the fourth day you've been in the camp.
So we returned on the 12th. Okay.
You returned on the 12th.
Cool.
Okay, sorry. We'll go ahead and end there. I'm sure this is thrilling and exciting. Thank you so much for joining us. We will be back next week. I think we'll be missing Mary, you said? You will not be here?
Yep, I won't be here. Sad.
Hopefully, we will have Beth, but we will see. So,
We'll only have Beth for part of the time if we do have her, but yeah.
okay, cool. Skeleton crew. Hopefully not. Anyway, we'll see you next Friday. Thank you so much. Have a lovely week, and we hope that you are safe and healthy.
And join